Hello there! Hi, I'm Jason. You're watching Happy Jack's RPG. This is episode 3 of the Castoffs, and we're playing in the Quest RPG system. You can find it at adventure.game. It's a free PDF. You can download it and check it out. The art's fantastic. I'd love to hear what you think of it. You can catch up on past episodes if you go to happyjacks.org/castoffs. And or just happyjacks.org/shows for anything and everything we've ever done. You can find us on YouTube playlist, podcast, Twitch VODs if you're a masochist. Nobody watches Twitch VODs.
Because they're terrible. Well, sometimes I put them on, like, if I need something to take a nap to.
I thought you were going to say to punish yourself. When I've been bad.
I was very bad. I have to watch Twitch VODs now.
Anyway, I think I mentioned that my name is Jason, and we're playing this game of Fantasy Pirates. And I should...
Legitimate entrepreneurs.
Yes, it was legitimate salvage, and they are entrepreneurs. Let's go this way this time. Nick, introduce yourself.
Oh, I see. Speak out, and suddenly I got to go first, huh?
Yeah, you got the teacher's attention.
Oh, yeah. Should have known that. Hey, everyone. I am Nick. I am playing Sal, short for Salamander, which is also the name of our amazing ship that is both a watercraft and can hover on land. Sal is the masthead that was brought to life through a method that has not quite been explained, if it ever will be, and is 8 foot tall and made of wood. And they use they, them pronouns.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I am playing Lucky Joshi. And she is a, cat person. Actual cat person, not a shifter.
A cat person and a cat person.
Yes, 100%. And she is also something of a, solve it with violence person. Who does a lot of work for the dead.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes violence is the answer.
If the question is violence, the answer is most likely yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Courtney. I play Third of Fandris. And we recently learned last episode that Third is not his real name. It's a nickname. He's a little paranoid of face stuff. Anyway, Third is the son of a mafioso, but he really just wants to be a bard. So he's run away from home for a little while and is now traveling with this ragtag gang of wonderful sailors to go see new places. Artist. So he's just gonna try to be a bard wherever he goes and try not to die.
I love it.
Trying to prevent Third from dying is Wall. Wall is everybody's uncle. He's, think Wolverine, but the comic book version where he's like 5'5". Same kind of gruff attitude, but he might be a secret paladin, which he found out last episode. What's up with that? Let's find out together.
Paladin of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So, to recap briefly, by the way, as the GM, I'm everybody else all at the same time. That's fine.
Do.
We have some folks on the ship. We have Doc and her son, Danny, are part of your crew. We have the chef, or cook, really, Tarina. She was a chef, now she's a cook.
That's definitely not our fault.
It 100% is, actually. She just doesn't know it yet. And that'll be fine. We also have a new hire of Kotil, who was taking Danny under his wing to show him the town a little bit. And we also parted ways with Soiler the Sailor. Not Sawyer, Soiler. Because of what he did. And so
and
he's
not Soylent.
yes, because he's also not people. Also, we have Corin the Mage, who has not woken up yet. He's was knocked out in the battle to defend our ship from Captain Gallant, and Corin the Mage was on Gallant's side, and Gallant threw him off the ship in a bid to make peace in losing the fight. And Danny fished him out and brought him aboard, and he hasn't woken up yet. So Tarina, I think, is still on the ship, keeping an eye on him. I'm also going to add retroactively that she had a decided like, no, I don't need to go to shore here. That's fine. I'm happy to stay on the ship. What? This is fine.
Okay.
I like it.
So
All right.
that's just a vibe.
Making enemies to everybody everywhere she goes.
When we opened up last time, it was to learn that several specters were pacing the ship, and they came on board. They wanted to speak to Lucky Joshi, but she wasn't available because she was a little catatonic at the moment. And so they let the crew know that they needed to get Lucky to a safe place for Lucky to astrally travel, and they delivered Lucky to a haunt house up above and just out of town a little ways from the town of Port Fiend, the southern port town on the Isle of the Queen of Death. And the island, by the way, is, I said it was the size of Honolulu last time. That's a city, not the name of the island. I meant like Oahu. It's like, 50 miles by 60 miles long, something like that. And it's if you were to look at it from the air, you're at the flat end of its southern end of the island. And then it has a long, roughly parallel coastline, and then kind of like a rounded coastline at the north end. And it looks kind of like a tombstone tipped over in the water. Not cool. Exactly, but, it certainly
Enough.
is, indicative of the environment here. Because if you find a theme, just lean into it. There were a number of references to Lucky being a representative of a consulate of some kind. We don't know what that means. Wall himself is a consulate guard. Wall doesn't know what that means. We don't. Wall doesn't. Grammar. It's for nerds like me.
And me.
And me.
Yeah.
And me.
So there was also some a bit of shopping and some fun character voices were done. This is very exciting for everybody.
Such as?
We'll get to it if we ever see it.
The important thing was Third got his caboodle, and that's
Yes. Yeah. Makeup kit acquired. And we, at the end of the episode, averted what could have been a very vigorous bar fight. It started out looking like it could be pretty bad. There were a number of bad rolls that contributed. Third wound up just completely soaked in beer. One of the waitstaff took pity on you and offered to put you to work for long enough for the laundry to go through. The table that was particularly giving you all the eye. The context, by the way, if we hadn't totally picked it up, they were eyeing the like scroll case and this beautiful sheet of paper and like all these like valuables, and then like several plates of different food that were ordered. And
I thought it was primarily the orichalcum.
oh yes, also the orichalcum badge that you have, which is essentially a spiral bramble design. Like if you had like thorny rose and then rolled it in a spiral, the like stem of that.
Thorny rose cinnamon roll.
Yes, a thorny.
Find
cinnamon
it, find it.
Cinnamon rose.
I was gonna say a cinnamon roll.
That's better. Yeah.
We got there.
Cinnamon rolls.
Something.
Like
Yeah.
Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
No. But it
Anyway.
just doesn't. It doesn't work outside of text.
The well, anyway, I think that's mainly where we left it. We had calmed the worst of the fight. The inn, the Giant's Compass Inn, was mostly recovered, and everyone was sitting back down to their food and their games and everything else. So it was, you were starting to get your bearings again. Danny and Coathill are over at one of the gaming tables. The gaming area never got fully involved in the brawl, But it's also worth noting part of the brawl included the Sal used magic to pull all of the liquid in the room into a
Beer NATO.
a beer NATO attack. And that did make a big mess. So the room is disheveled and people are wet and like trying to figure out, we need new drinks and, so all of that has been a little disruptive. But
You started a trend there.
As part of the remaining, or as can I beer NATO everything out?
Reverse beer.
Not like back to the drinks, but just like pick up all of the water, all of the alcohol, and just put it out a window or something.
I've heard tales of the reverse beer NATO. But I never thought to witness one myself.
Well, now's your chance.
I would make you roll for it, so it's up to you.
Okay.
Which I mentioned, folks, because the power that Nick has to do this normally doesn't require a roll.
Right.
Because it's meant for moving a bunch of water that is just freely available to you.
Right. Like an ocean or
yeah.
a pool or a
Yes.
lake or something.
Yeah. Or even a river, if it's
Sure.
convenient. Not, a gajillion little mugs of beer. So.
Then first I will ask. I will speak to the bartender and say I'm very sorry about what I'm very sorry about what happened earlier. I may be able to assist with removing the errant liquid.
I think the owner has probably come out at this point. Did we meet the owner before?
I don't
No.
think we did.
Does seem like the kind of thing that would bring them out from the back
Probably.
this moment. Because it all happened really quickly. But now we're back into normal time. The owner, let's see. No, I hadn't thought about that part. I was making notes about stuff today based on the episode of the podcast last night that we had. I started making some little 3-point notes.
Neat.
And I didn't think about who the owner of the Giant's Compass is.
Is the owner a giant or a half giant?
Well, I
Is
did like
the
that.
owner a dwarf?
Oh,
Or that.
dwarf, a halfling,
Yeah, somebody small.
They're actually
Dear.
a decidedly average height person because it was a dwarf and giant family that has, made their way down the generations, but they have
met in
wound
the
up
middle.
being about 5'9", maybe a little stocky build, but just yeah. We've
Uncle?
got- what?
Uncle.
Let's well, actually I am picturing like if Dwayne the Rock Johnson was 5'9", right? Same mass, just
Scrunched.
scrunch, and the width
Yeah.
that would entail, and the density, just the implied density of looking at someone like that. The skin has like stony patches on it, and not like an illness, but just parts of the skin are stone.
Right.
I think this guy has come out to survey the situation, has a mop, but is a little dismayed. His expression is. Oh, well, if you have magic that can clean this up, I guess we might as well start with that. Sure.
Wish I had some sort of method of getting advantage or something on this, but I don't think
If
so.
you can make a case for it,
I can't think of anything to make a case for it. And I really wish I'd been able to.
what is it?
That's a 3.
Okay, well, that's not one at least.
No, but it is definitely a failure. So
Failures
So
can
the
be
dice-
am I
comedy.
just ineffective, or have I actively made this worse?
The dice is saying, don't go chasing beer nados. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that
That
you're
I
used
used
to.
to. Yes.
I think I don't really like having an action where just nothing happens, but I think the act of whatever sort of wind up you had, and then there's just some like tremulous bubbles, you know, of all the beer and the floorboards and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is a hit to your reputation.
All right, that's fine.
You
Don't
are
come here very
distinctive
often.
and noticeable, rememberable, and the town will remember this."
Okay.
I was there the night of the beer NATO.
But haven't seen the reverse beer NATO yet.
Still not.
We've still.
One thought themselves capable. They did not prove ready for the task.
They were not worthy.
Okay. I want to just blink away a little bit here. Pooja. Lucky is gonna wake up at the haunt house in a moment. Do you want any scenes of what has been going on in the Shadowlands? Is there anything you want to review or research?
I think the only thing I want to maybe like do that like zip back into the past and be like, Lucky is on the ship. Our ship's cat,
Yes.
Portina,
Cortina?
is a shapeshifter
Will be. Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
But like,
When she grows up.
but I am attempting to like befriend and take under my wing
Yeah.
Portina.
Yeah. I mean, she is certainly like at most a sort of like toddler level intelligence. You know, it's not like you're treating an adult like a child or something, or a pet.
Okay,
right?
good.
She is certainly, but she'll probably mature more quickly than a human would because animals do. So.
But I definitely like, I'm like, okay, well, you can't just leave, you know, a future shapeshifting cat to
Just
roam
whatever.
around the ship eating rats all day.
Sure. Well, I mean, she's
I mean,
happy.
it's all fun and games until you see like a human running around the ship eating cats
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah, just like naked, barefoot, like wild human. Just.
So I've actually been bribing Portina with bits of salted fish to play like toddler level games.
I'm picturing, so in my mind, these types of wares like figure out how to mimic humanity, and I'm just picturing this like 12-year-old kid like tacos, taxes, pants,
Yes. Yep.
Like, just,
Yep.
I talk about human things.
That's how I act today.
Yeah.
Is
So
Roll to 20.
I'm looking forward to that.
Um,
But yeah, so you're keeping an eye on Portina.
I am, and I'm playing games with Portina, and then I feel like just as I was putting away like the games that we were playing that day, it was kind of like a sharp tugging sensation, and I was pulled outside of my body.
And so we see the moment where Lucky's eyes roll back and you sort of tip back on the bed. And okay.
And then we'll just cut to my waking up.
Okay, great. I love a jump cut. Yeah, so you wake up. Hopefully you don't sit up quickly. Or I don't know how you wake up. In movies, people always they wake up like just out of the blue. Like nobody wakes up
No,
like that.
exactly. Thank you. That bothers me.
But if you did, you are in a concrete, well, not concrete, but hewn stone, essentially coffin space, right? It's probably about 7 feet deep and, you know, 1.5 feet on either side, and you're just slid in there. When you wake up, you're on some sort of like suspension spell, like you're floated above the stone a little bit.
The pillow top version.
Yeah. So,
I think what's actually gonna happen is like I take like a sudden really deep breath and my eyes pop open, and whereas normally Lucky's eyes are like really, really, really dark brown and you can't really see the pupil, it's like her eyes are glowing yellow, and you can see very distinctly that her pupils are cat slits.
Yep. And then is that starting to fade or?
Yeah, if
Okay.
like it's like a momentary like as her spirit returns to her body thing, and as she really like as I come to consciousness, they go back to dark.
Okay. Now, we talked a little bit before stream about what this would mean. I want to have that revealed in Lucky's voice to the other characters rather than go through it as the exposition hammer. But we can certainly go through the Lucky slides out of this slot in a wall. You find yourself in a hallway with 10 of these slots on either side. There's a lobby out one direction, and I think there's probably just a back door or something out the other way. But you also have like some of your things are, like maybe they took off your coat or something, but you find some of your things in a little cubby. I forget if Lucky wears shoes.
I do, but like I like to think that they would have taken my shoes off.
Okay,
When I'm there.
yeah.
If nothing else, just for respect.
Yeah, and I think like a haunt house certainly knows what the normal things to do for someone who is astrally projecting would be. So, yeah, I think they've done everything normal to make you comfortable, but not anything intrusive, So, but yeah, when you emerge, you have your things, and you can hear there's somebody humming to herself out in the lobby. Of a jaunty tune. I mean, because it's so quiet in here, right? So,
As a tune.
yeah, like real like mausoleum vibe, But what do you want to do?
No, I'm gonna get my stuff, put my shoes on, all that. Look over, like, tap the number 16,
Mhm.
and then go out and meet the attendant. Well, first, before I do that, actually. Arjun?
Yes.
Hey, how long was I out?
She gives you a number in hours. Right?
Oh, okay, good. I was a
Yes.
little worried.
Yeah, because it's like the afternoon of when you all got here, so like 12 hours, let's say.
Oh, great. So I'm assuming the crew dropped me off.
Yes.
Do you know where they are now?
No, but the town doesn't seem big. I bet we could find them. Although you probably should check in with the scribe.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's always weird, like, when they pull you out at sea, and then it's like, am I ever gonna get back? The usual.
Did you? The scribe asked if I was your guide, and I know I'm just the attendant, but did you have a guide?
It felt like yes, but only one way.
Huh.
Hmm.
On the way back, I was kind of like, go forth and do the thing.
For the audience camera too, by the way, Argent is almost always snarky and sarcastic, particularly with Lucky. And this sort of moment of sincerity and like just plain speak should be noted, right? It's not me forgetting Argent's character. It's like this is a momentous occasion for Argent, and she'll get snarky in a minute, but like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? And you can also see like she was genuinely worried. So that was part of your sort of getting yourself back together and ready to go. Yeah, so you were out for about 12 hours. No one else has been by, not even other ghosts. There's like 3 other people in alcoves here, or in whatever those would be called. I don't know.
If it's been 12 hours, is Wall there? Because I don't think that our whole day in adventure took 12
but
hours.
she was knocked out before you all realized what was going on the ship.
Right, we still
Ah,
didn't get
okay.
to the city.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it was probably 8 in the morning or
Yeah.
something before anyone realized, and now it's 8-ish at night.
Okay.
Where it was dinner time, right? You were all headed towards the inn to
Yeah.
regroup and get some food and do all that, and so it's probably a little less than 12 hours really, but that's Arjun's estimate.
That's fine.
So, and I'm just lining this up with you're waking up at about the time where we're putting tables back up and trying to mop up beer, and when your spell doesn't work, by the way, the owner of this place, let's look up giant and dwarf names. Giant name generator. I mean, the website Fantasy Name Generator is such an incredible community service.
It
Because
really is.
I would never.
There's also a random name generator that allows you to like filter a lot by different regions and cultures and things.
Oh,
Also
that's
including like some like fantasy ones.
Okay.
So I found that very useful,
Yeah, I definitely have to check that out.
especially because it gives you a range of gender options.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And
That's
like
good.
you can decide on how many names you want. Like, do you want a full complement of like, 3 or 4 names, or do you just want 2, or do you just want 1?
Yeah. This is Ulrog Cave Cloak.
Ulrog.
Ulrog. Ulrog. Cave Cloak. So when your spell doesn't work, Sal, you are offered a mop.
I'll take them up.
Yeah, it's not like, all right, well, you better clean up. It's like, here's another way you could help if that, if that's what you're interested in doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel somewhat responsible for this. It was in relation
I mean,
to
the mess is literally your fault.
No, the mess is the fault of the people who started the fight.
Okay.
I was just a response to that.
I see. Okay.
Had there been no fight,
There would be no beer all over the place.
Interesting. The tangled webs we weave to justify our actions. All right, so back at Haunt House, the Haunt House. You're set up. Anything else you want to talk about with Arjun before you head out?
Do you want to become a guide?
Well, I mean, no, whatever, not really. It's so much work. You're getting a little bit of that, sass back from her. Also, Lucky, particularly in this moment, maybe some other time I would have had you roll for it, but you're so freshly back. You can see Arjun is maybe like depleted is the best word. Like where a human would be exhausted. Her ability to manifest and be present and whatever is certainly stunted right now. So that's something she would never admit to, but you can see it in like the fabric of her being, the way your eyes are right now. So
I'm gonna reach out and kind of like fake punch her spectral arm. Be like, well, thanks for looking out.
Well,
attending.
Yeah, I mean, I had to, so whatever.
And I'm gonna go talk to this guy.
Okay. And she takes the opportunity to kind of, evaporate.
Take a nap.
Yeah, and not be coalesced for a little while.
Because if I told her to take a nap,
yeah,
she wouldn't out of spite.
Yeah, correct. I'm glad we understand this character so well together. But yeah, when you step out, the scribe looks up. It's the gal we were describing before. I think, what did we say? She was like a 20-something blonde gal, just working on some sort of paperwork, like continuous paperwork of some kind. But she also has a little spiral bramble brooch, and looks up when you come out. It's like, oh, lucky Joshi, you're ready already.
Yes. The matter was rather urgent, but it wasn't overly complicated.
Okay. Is there anything I should put down for you? And she kind of moves some things around and gets out a much more special looking scroll. Actually, I think it was a tome she was writing in. So yeah, she moves this great big book over and it opens it up to a fresh page.
The consulate has called in duty of ambassador, duty of guard. But that's all I've got right now. I will have to discover the rest as they intend.
All right. Well, I'll be here when you have more to put down.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Do you mind, did you give my associates did you give my crew a pager?
Your consulate guard
Yes.
So-
Wonderful.
should be able to find him.
Perfect.
And you find, without having to concentrate too much, you just have a sense. There's a little like white arrow on your mini map that is pointing to.
So I set out to follow the glowing golden line.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you're really not very far away. But just to recap the set a little bit, there is the haunt house is at the side of the road, west of the cliff that Port Fiend is built into. It when you go along that road, up on top of the town is a T crossroads where there's a road that goes straight north up the island and roads that go east and west. You were on the west road, it came in, and it's kind of a bustling marketplace there. It's where shipments are either gathered to truck up or around the island or something that has come down to the port. But most people, if they want to bring something to Port Fiend, they just boat it around because it's so much more convenient. But sometimes the port brings things in or whatever. So yeah, even at dinner time and getting past dinner time, this whole marketplace is going to be busy until probably midnight. So make your way through there. You realize you're going to need to take the elevators down. Do you want to check in? How is Lucky's? What's her relationship with heights?
Lucky has a tendency to find the top of the tallest tree and and dangle from a small branch, just like when she was a child.
Great.
And then, but at least now she can get herself down.
Okay. Well, you're about. I think we said 10th was not the top floor, right? I think there was like an 11th
Right.
one that was
Yeah.
sort of loading dock.
I think you said 12 stories.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The top two were
Yeah.
sort of loading dock
Yeah.
and storage.
Yeah.
So you're at the top of a 12-story cliff. How tall is the story? Like in feet?
Like 10 feet
Like
or
10
so?
feet.
10-ish?
Mm. 10 to 15.
I was about to
Depends
say,
on the building.
Okay, so
I
it's
would say
at
like
least
'cause-
120 feet. Maybe 150.
because then you need.
Yeah. Clearance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you're way up in the air. And the elevators look a little rickety, but they're, well made and not too much to worry about. And you have a really good sense of, your target is all the way on the bottom of this thing. So you can either take the elevator, you could do the Assassin's Creed jump. There is a bale of hay 150 feet down, so it's probably safe
Yeah.
to just jump.
I think that
Just a single bale of hay. Just
so tempting, but I will take the elevator.
Some merchants just drop that cart off right there on
Yep.
that spot.
So perfect.
I love those games.
They're so good.
In one of them, second or third game, you could drag bodies into the hay to hide them. And at some point, I had dragged like 7 or 8
Yep.
bodies into this one
Yep.
hay because it was the perfect spot to like stab, hide, stab, hide. I'm like, okay, the conservation of mass is not working in this situation. There's no inventory slot of how many dead bodies I can store in this container. And I took advantage of that.
Well, your ancestral memory says it happened, so it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's science. It's right there.
It reminds me of to derail just a little, but like in Fallout 4, you got like a workbench.
Mhm.
And if you
Oh, yeah.
could store stuff in your workbench, but then if you wanted to craft, it would just pull arbitrarily from what was stored in there.
Yeah.
So I had a problem with that. So I wanted to choose what it used. But there was a toolbox next to the workbench
Yeah.
with no cap on how much stuff you could put in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I had hundreds and hundreds of components
Yep.
in there. It was
Yeah.
It's like portal to another dimension
I've
toolbox.
stored entire cities in those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Remember.
had there were two things near one that I remember. Like one of them was armor and clothing sets, and it was just so many. It was like a single one of everything I could find because I'm
Exactly.
a collector.
Exactly.
And then the other one was all this like different weapons of like I had to have a little bit of everything and multiples because you needed the parts sometimes, and I like that aspect of like, oh no, this is encouraging my hoarder
Yeah.
tendencies. But anyway, let's have Lucky entering the Giant's Compass.
Can we have a quick? Does Wall get any kind of a beep or like a notification?
Oh,
Your party is
It
ready.
vibrates.
It's actually I don't think it would.
Okay.
In the way I'm thinking of it, I don't think that's its design.
Okay. Cool.
It helps her find you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's so far.
Cool.
Yeah. So, you enter to find the dining area in disarray. The tables and chairs are back up where they go, but the whole staff is out mopping stuff. People are like wringing out their clothes, and somebody's like hung up some jackets by the fire. But the place, I don't know if you caught the description, but it was dining area kind of in the front, long bar that makes a 90-degree turn, and it has it's a whole sort of corner of a square, and then that to the left of that long bar are all the gaming tables, and then at the end of the room with the gaming tables is a doorway it's not a door, but
An
a
opening.
way to stairs. So that's what you find, and you can find your friends right away because they're in this
I'm literally behind the bar
prominent table.
for some strange
Yes.
reason.
Third is pulling pints.
Sal is mopping floors.
And
Wall's having a word with the other captain, the
Uh,
other table.
oh, the
Yeah.
ones who started the fight.
Yeah, just peaceful. We're just making some peace.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's zoom in on that real quick and
Okay.
just see what that conversation was, because we'd be able to get some of that before
Okay.
Lucky shows up. So
Yeah, Wall goes up and just openly asks to the group, who is captain here?
the guy who had the wand
Mm-hmm.
stands up and he says, "That's me."
This is your first time to the island of the dead and the dying.
Well, we've heard a lot about it, but yes.
You should know this
and by
is...
the way, he does have like 9 or 10
Sure.
rings
Yep.
up one of his arm. He's not new, but
Right.
new here.
Yeah. You should know this is a place where people go to mourn, to celebrate or grieve their losses. This is not a place for blood.
Well, I get that. The prize was too tempting, and it got away from me. So I apologize.
Your men follow a good captain. He says that, Wall says that loud enough for the others to hear.
All right. Well, we're gonna get back to it.
I'd be at your back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's having that combination of like, I'm surly and tough and like grossly embarrassed and like all of that stuff.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
and then at that point, the door swings open and everybody looks as Lucky Joshi walks in. And I think while you catch the last glimmer of yellow in her eyes, but maybe it was just the angle of the light because it's gone.
I'm getting old.
And Lucky, this is the scene you walk into.
Look around.
This
like,
place, it smells so strongly of beer. Because normally it's not everywhere. It's just in the mugs.
Yeah.
Why is there beer in the ceiling?
Yeah.
making friends
With curtains are
everywhere we
dripping.
go.
I'm probably mopping the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be your job.
Just
Yeah.
extending your.
Yeah.
I see her coming with 2 pints of beer. Lucky! Hey! You have a good nap.
Yes, quite refreshing. I see you found new employment.
Yeah, it's and it kind of looks down at the uniform. It's I got wet. They're doing my laundry. It's a thing. You want a beer?
Let me think on it a second, but thank you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just, I think well, hopefully it closed done quick. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Well, as you can see, Sal is cleaning. It's a story that I'm sure Wall will want to tell you. I think he's right around the corner there talking to some people if you want to go find him. I'll be here doing this.
So, I think we all need to hear this, so I'll just gather them up and be right back.
As you two are just about to finish this conversation, you hear third in a almost Disney princess sing-song.
Just trying to choose some ice. That's about the look on his face, like he just swallowed something horrible. Does he recognize his voice?
Oh yes, it is the Dockmaster from earlier.
Oh.
And you remember me? It's Miss Glitterhorn. Hello.
Hello, Miss Glitterhorn.
And she's flying through, and she could easily just fly over everyone, but like maybe that's rude or like it's just a little bit strange because she's flying along at like average head height.
Yeah.
And like squeezing through the crowd. She could just go up and over, but just not.
Lucky, don't leave me. Lucky, don't leave me. Lucky, don't leave me. Just stay here, please.
Lucky, don't leave me with her.
Okay. All right. Do you need me to get rid of her?
There you are. I see you.
Just stay with me. Hello. What brings you here to this fine establishment?
I have done you a favor.
Oh no. I mean, thanks.
I wasn't sure that you would be able to get an audition slot for the last call, and I secured you an audition time.
At the place on 10th.
Last call on 10th.
Wow. It's very kind of you. Have to make sure that once I finish up here to go see that.
It was kind of me, wasn't it? You'll remember this, I'm sure.
She has that shark grin.
It's like shark mouth almost, you know.
Ah, yes, but remember, she thinks I'm
Exactly.
her.
No. She for the listener who may not remember, she believes, we kind of saw it in her eyes last time, that third is a sort of higher ranked fae than she is, and is either trying to manipulate third or ingratiate or be a sycophant or whatever it is, or be able to hamstring you at some point if she gets the opportunity, because that's how the fae court works. So it also puts third in this awkward position of like, if you refuse or didn't go to this one, then that actually you've now slighted her, even though you didn't ask for this help. So you could choose what to do.
I think he definitely wants to go. So.
But she is also obviously like
manipulative,
like thinking about third and being manipulative. So yeah,
The game is afoot.
yes.
Oh, why did it have to be Faye? Says, thank you. I will make sure to attend that appointment post haste.
Oh, that's great. I also made sure, I know that you work so well with an audience, and it would be very strange to just perform into a void or a room with a couple of people. So I made sure to get you onto the schedule where they had open auditions for everyone to attend. So there will certainly be a crowd, so you won't have to feel lonely or intimidated by that.
That was very kind of you. Well done.
Well,
You
thank
must have a lot of pull in this town to be able to do that.
I'd like to do my part.
Certainly did this time. Well done. If you'll excuse me, I have some people to serve here.
By all means. And this just overly polite bow.
He tips a non-existent hat.
While hovering in air.
Yes.
Bow / like combo curtsy somehow,
Yeah.
like whatever that is.
Just being an extra
yes, he's
Tinkerbell.
extra. Yeah. And then she heads over to the bar, and you can hear her ordering a rare steak.
She's scary.
I had no idea you dealt so familiarly with the Fae.
I don't know what went wrong, but I think she likes me. Maybe something went right. I don't know. I'm sorry, it's just the way I was raised. We don't trust the Fae in my family. That's why I go by third. You know, because I'm third born. It's not my birth name. My parents aren't that obtuse.
Well,
Man, they creep
that
me
is
out.
actually quite comforting.
Yeah.
Can I leave now?
Oh, yes, thank you. Go.
Can there have been like Third's hand on her
Yeah.
arm, like a little desperately? I'm like,
Yes.
oh, sorry.
Oh, yes.
Is that okay?
Yep.
It's like a little white.
Yeah, the like imprint of Third's hand.
So I'll be right back. I'm not abandoning you forever.
Thank you. No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
How well does Third, has Third studied Fae?
It's more
ways?
that his father told him they can't be trusted. They're evil. They will manipulate you. Don't ever give them their name. Don't take their food. Don't say
Okay.
thank you, which he's already made that mistake because he's polite.
Your
it's
dad's
all
totally
like
Fae.
Either that or these
You're
are also
elves.
the rules about dealing with the mafia.
Yeah.
maybe,
Take their
maybe.
food,
I don't know what his deal is,
Especially
but
not the
he just,
criminals.
Yeah.
he just raised him. He passed that paranoia on to his children.
Okay.
So it's not education. It's just my dad told me this is how it is.
Okay.
So it might be a bit ignorant even.
Sure.
Who knows in this world?
Okay. No, that's good. I was wondering is this a like I'm scared because I don't know them, or I'm scared because I do know them, and so I was thinking about what details I can throw out, but this is even better.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm rubbing my hands.
So evil.
Diabolically.
So evil.
But you'll figure it out tonight. That's fine. You'll figure it out.
Okay.
Anyway.
And she told you that your time is like an hour from now.
Well, I sure hope my laundry's done by then, and then I gotta.
It should be, but it'll be close at that point.
Okay.
Like that's right at the end of the time that you promised to work. So
Okay.
you also probably won't have time to eat dinner.
We'll just sneak some stuff from under the. They'll never notice the peanuts are gone. It's fine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna approach Wall. It's like, had some excitement?
One could say that, yes, but firstly, how are you?
I'm good. Should update you all together. But but other than that, yes, I'm good. But
You're certain?
I don't-
There's-
don't need to lie, but I am glad you remembered my lucky number.
You don't forget these things when you train together and spar together.
Let's grab Sal. He is. Why is there beer on the ceiling?
I believe we are in the aftermath of an event later to be called the Beer NATO, but that is a story for Sal to tell.
From across the restaurant over in the gaming section, you hear, "Lucky, you're okay." And Danny is like trying to get up from the gaming table, and Cotil's like, "No, all your chips. Like, so you can't just get up." And so there's a little bit of a kerfuffle over there. But Danny's like, "Hey, I have to do." He's like trying to communicate from across, without shouting and doing this very obscure hand gesture language that doesn't mean anything. So that's happening.
There's a moment where, as Danny goes barging in. My friend, my friend. There's just a camera moment of Wall was about to step in for a hug, but decides not to.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's like, look over at Danny, completely missed this. And just like wave, point, wave. Yeah. Just it's cool. You can sit down.
Okay. I couldn't hear what you said, but it's fine. It's much too loud right now.
Just that's
The worst part too is it's not because he's drunk, right? We established last time that merfolk can drink more heavily than most humans, at least most humanoids probably, and he's just loud and obnoxious. So
he's just that kid.
yeah,
He's
exactly.
that 22-year-old frat boy.
Yep,
Yeah. In Vegas for the first time.
yep. And fortunately, he's with you all, which is good. He's not with a pack
Yeah.
of fellows,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
would just be bad on top of bad. So.
Oh my goodness. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna start a fight.
Coattail's actually keeping a good eye on it. So, for whatever that's worth, Coattail has not been a complete failure.
Mm.
Where did we? Kotel's the other.
The other
The
sailor
captain,
who
thank
wanted to
you.
join, because when he found out that Sal is actually a person, and Captain Gallant wanted to possess a person, is not okay. Because apparently Coattail's a decent human being, at least.
Yeah, he's got some sense to him.
If, battle-hardened pirate and
I mean,
mercenary,
he finds me attractive, therefore he has sense.
He has some good taste.
yeah,
There you
he-
go.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Kotel, the family Kotel.
yes. So,
All I remember is smelly guy, really.
So I led the sailor.
Mm.
He knows what he did.
Terrible. Well, let's. Hopefully, he's about done with the ceiling. Dear NATO.
There are footprints on the ceiling, and somehow I'm the bad person.
No one said you were bad, or did they? Do I need to hurt someone?
No, everything is fine. This is my fault.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Well-
The rival captain has given an apology. No bad blood on my side.
None here.
Good.
Well, let's go back over to the bar. I have some news from the other side. Three. This is difficult to explain to anyone, really, but also I know that you're so new to everything that's happening here, and I was urgently summoned by the consulate sometime this morning, which there's not a lot I can say about it, but they do have a job for us, and I look specifically at Wall for that. We need to go to meet with the Queen.
The Queen.
There's something's going on. It's big. Whatever it is, it's big, and they need me, and they need you. But Three and Sal, you are also invited. And of course, the consulate will compensate you for your time and effort. Not with money. They don't actually deal in money. But in other things that are just as fine.
Interesting. When exactly do we need to go do this?
Midnight tonight.
Okay. Audition at 8.
Is that okay? Sorry.
I need the Queen at midnight. Tight schedule, but I think I can.
Yeah, I mean, your audition is essentially 9-ish, 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
So, it's a tight schedule because also the Queen's Palace is not here, right? It's inland. You have to take the North Road inland. But it's also at most 50 miles away. And if you got a carriage or something, like, you can get there in a couple hours.
We'll have to Find a carriage, I suppose.
Shouldn't be too difficult. But,
Lucky, you say that the consulate asked for you specifically.
yes, and I was not the only one.
Which brings me to this question. I am not a mercenary. How am I known to them?
Well, you're a consul guard.
Of course.
Very helpful.
Right. About that.
I wish I could help you there, but I only remember so much myself.
In all of the time we've sailed together, have I ever mentioned my past as a consul guard or even the consulate itself?
No, but we really never talked about it. I mean, I figured it was just a... So you're telling me you didn't know we posted on this ship together because of the council?
Seems this is a night of many revelations for me.
At some point, they really have to loosen the reins on this nonsense.
I think when Lucky mentions the posting wall,
Mm.
I think we have to have a little glimmer of recovery.
Okay.
In the context of, again, that like you either have to agree to this and agree that you won't remember,
Yeah.
or you can not take this on and also not remember.
Mm.
But whatever it was, Wall can remember agreeing and agreeing not to remember. You know, like
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
convoluted
Yeah.
nonsense. But you know, just to
Yeah.
thread
I
that a
think
little
right now
bit is-
Wall's reconciling, like, wait a minute, like, how long has this, like, I know if I said I'd do something, I'll do it. I trust myself, but what were the specifics? Like, what did I get into? I know that I wouldn't sign on to something that wasn't right, but, like, that's where his head's at right now.
I can't tell you the details of your situation. Namely because I don't know them, but also possibly because even if I did know them, I wouldn't know that I knew them. But
if you knew that you know that you don't know,
that I might be able to remember, but I don't know. However, I guess the easiest thing would be to say that the consul deals more with the dead than the living.
Very well.
They are a power not to be crossed or trifled with.
And they have a task for us.
They have a job, yes. Apparently something that the queen would normally take care of, but I'm not sure why she can't or won't or what it is exactly. They may have told me. And then done that thing. It's honestly, maybe we just never talked about it because it's incredibly frustrating to try it too.
I'm beginning to feel that, yes. But perhaps doing this task would give us some audience with someone from the consulate who I might ask my questions to.
Most likely. And then it's possible that another ambassador might be able to... It's possible the queen could answer more questions.
well, when you mention the word audience, your memory flickers to the flat of a blade being rested on one shoulder and then the other shoulder, and something being said, but it's just like Charlie Brown, like
Yeah.
wah, wah, and then it's gone. It's just a fleeting moment.
Mm-hmm.
This I can't say. There are ambassadors across the entire world. The consulate reach is... Well, they'd like us all to believe it's infinite. I haven't seen anything that would prove them wrong yet. And as long as we work for them, as long as I work for them, I assume you work for them, that if we are in need, we can go to them. But in return, also, jobs.
To the task then.
One of the
I am
gals.
starving. Do they have anything good here?
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I almost forgot. At that moment, one of the servers brings over a platter, a charcuterie platter, all kinds of meats, including some that are obviously raw. And when they settle it down, they set it on the table. They also look surprised that there's like this jingling of soft bells, right? As when they set it down, they're like, "What?" And then you see Miss Glitterhorn was as she introduced herself, so that's her use name apparently. Just waving to you from the bar, like, "It's on me, don't worry. Enjoy, please. It looks like you didn't have enough time to eat." And she's not speaking very loudly, but her voice just sails across the room.
But it arrived from the waiters brought it to us, or
The
it just came up
waiter
here?
brought it.
Okay.
Yes.
He looks a little suspicious at it and he says, "I think it's okay. Waiter brought it out. I don't think she conjured it."
Roll a d20 for me.
Okay. Brought my very extra D20.
Oh yeah, the one that
so
does it flash.
Yes, when you get a 20, that's a 5.
Does not flash.
That's
not
a
flash,
failure.
That's a miss.
No.
Like a full miss, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the 6 is the tough choice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing to report. Everything's fine.
I assume that everything is fine.
Lucky, if we're going to meet the queen, is there a dress code? How should we present ourselves?
I believe you will have to wear both a shirt and pants. Or, at least some bottoms. It doesn't have to be pants.
I forget if we said, has anyone been to the island before?
Long
Many
time
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, okay. So I think the memory is that if you're visiting the palace, you're supposed to wear something white.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be all white, but you're supposed to have something that's scarf or your
we're
whole
going
outfit.
shopping.
Mm.
But it's
This job is not a good fit. I'm just kidding.
it's balls in all black, right? Yeah.
Most of us are in black and gray today, so we're just
But there
got that
are
under
also
dressed.
there are pennants that people are selling. The sellers have like scarves and
Sure,
and
yeah.
veils and things that so it's a part of the fashion here too, that anyone, any gender will wear a veil sometimes, of a like sort of white gauzy sort of borderline bridal, borderline mourning. It's not a clear design one way or the other. But there are various, like, lots of places where you could stop and get I went to the Isle of the Dead and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
But it's white.
It's white with white text on it, which is just maddening.
It's only a texture difference.
Yes, you get like in the light, you
It
can
really
sort
is a
of
lousy
squint
T-shirt.
and yeah.
Well, I should go back to the ship then and change. Do you want me to bring you anything while I'm there? You all need to eat.
I don't think I really own anything white. I like color quite a bit.
Yeah,
Something.
well, I saw many vendors at the market on the way here.
Okay.
I bet we could outfit you with something more drapey, in fact. So, this fair looks quite interesting. Are you sure you do not want to sample it, Sal?
The charcuterie, is that what you mean?
Just in general, but also,
Trying to get Sal to eat stuff.
Right.
yes. I'm really just trying to get Sal to eat stuff. We will find you something.
This is a good moment also for, and I think particularly because you two are so tuned to like kitchen and chefs and all this, you hear not Cave Cloak's voice. He's has a very bassy, gravelly. It's a masculine voice from the kitchen that's just a little higher register and just not him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you hear, "What do you mean they only had one bushel? A whole ship came in with these, and I was promised more than one. What do you mean they bought all of them?" You're only hearing half of the conversation. But There is a distressed chef in the kitchen about something.
What would you recommend?
Well, we do have this also vouched for charcuterie from our third admirer.
That one over there. My point to Glitterhorn.
Look over and see.
Yep, there's the fairy sitting at the bar, sort of standing at the bar, I guess, just standing on her stool.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could order something on the menu. We could order something off the menu. I bet that they do an excellent fish here in many ways. I bet they do a fish 7 ways, in fact.
You know what they do? Right there on the menu.
I'm not sure I have time for a whole meal to be prepared if I'm to go and get everyone additional clothing.
Well, I am saying we could just go shopping instead. As an alternative.
All right.
Settled then. Lucky and I will inquire at the kitchen. Find something.
Oh no, allow me. I mean, I work here, technically, for at least another 32 minutes. So, how about I'll go find something for Sal if you two want to go get some appropriate clothing from a local vendor? I mean, you two should eat some of this first, because especially you've been out for a while.
I'll try it after you.
All right. Takes like some salami off and a cracker. How is it? Do they actually do decent charcuterie?
Yeah. And it is you are a magician. And so yeah, you also can tell that there has been some magic
Magician.
spent to, make sure that everything is fresh and that like preservation without being like what we think of as preserved foods. It's like yucky and not as good. So it's really, really fresh.
Yeah.
Like, it just came from the butcher.
It's good. It's real good.
There's some like, beef tartare, also some like like sashimi kind of cuts, and all kinds of stuff.
Gotta try
You know,
this cheese.
Let's
Amazing.
not let this go to waste then.
Lucky, Sal?
I will take a small piece of prosciutto
Good choice.
and sort of like rip it in half, small piece and then ripped in half, and taste it.
Yeah, I mean it's prosciutto. You can decide what Sal tastes, but yeah.
I haven't thought about what Sal's taste buds are like, so
Okay.
I'll have to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm going to carefully just come back into the middle of the little like presentation of sashimi to pick exactly the one I want and pull it out of the selection.
Yeah.
The third one, slide it out.
Just kind of bat it
Like
a little bit
Jenga.
until you get it.
Yeah, I mean the food is well prepared and high quality meat. Either the animals are kept here on the island, or something some sort of magical transport was involved to get it here in this state, or it was completely crafted by magic. But that's wild. Nobody would do that.
I mean, I do want to know. I want to know what Wall and I taste, if we taste anything different than just like a magically enhanced charcuterie.
Should we do a dice roll?
You want to see if it's magically delicious.
Yes, I do. Also, I want to know if we need to write a column about how
Yeah.
like they're
Oh,
magically enhancing their food instead of. I got a
13.
nat 20.
Oh my god. Okay, 13 and a nat 20. I think the two of you make eye contact and realize, like, okay, one, this is like 5-star charcuterie, by any standard. But even with just the 13, you could tell, yeah, like magical means went into this, but in the way that you would add spices to
Right,
something,
right, yeah.
Like it is cooking magic
Yeah.
that went into it, not somebody's like secret poisoning the food or
It's
anything
not
like
just
that.
MSG.
Right. Which is also delicious.
Yeah.
But it's not that. Oh, MSG.
It's so good.
Why? Why do you hate me?
Wall raps at the table 5 times and just kind of looks at Lucky.
Nods.
And with your natural 20, I have to give more. You know that this is not even Fey magic, right? And I think you're just so closely having returned from an astral plane, existence that you're just in this slightly different zone at the moment. So, one, you saw that a Fae had sent this over and were maybe like, food from the Fae, that's a little iffy. But she didn't make it. So that part's good. But what that means also is that the chef must have made it. And so the chef that made this is no slouch. There is some kind of very specific food magic at work here that you're not familiar with. And maybe is being developed new here. Hard to say.
It's like very carefully select, like make sure I take a taste of the rest of the board to see if it all harmonizes as well as I think it will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is like they're laid out, and the way they go together is almost like chords on a piano. Certain combinations have a bite of this with a bite of this. You're like, oh, that's different from this and this, and it's very intentional.
Nod. Just not very, yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing your bounty, Third.
Oh, you have heard of thing, but maybe don't. Maybe just give her a polite wave. Yes, I'll ask the chef about the fish 7 ways. Was it?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Well, by the time you get back, it should be ready to eat.
Do you happen to know the name of this chef?
I don't think I got it. They
It's
just
all
put me to work. I don't know anyone's name yet. I'm here for another 29 minutes.
It's not
so
important. Don't worry about it. We'll just need to know the name of the chef before we leave.
I'll ask when I head back. How about that? So I'll find out for you. Don't worry.
Appreciate it.
Audience, note this is us stalling so that Jason can find a name
Yes.
for the
Desperately searching the name generator.
No.
Meanwhile,
go. You need
Wall
to go.
goes to every table, asks what their name is, and
A big book of names.
Weird.
That's a wall
just
tradition.
fell over dead. That's so weird.
I think we just need to prepare a list of names for Jason so he can just grab one. next time we
So,
go.
in terms of, I know we're going to do we might not do a shopping scene, but Sal is dressed the way I had in one of the pictures with a pair of Rise Company trousers, which are white with a purple stripe down the side. They are too short. So Sal's feet and ankles and a little bit of calf are showing out the bottom.
Scandalous.
I know, right?
And then no shirt, but wearing a green vest with red trim. And Sal's hair is currently done up in like a ponytail, Sal has very long hair and is able to somehow, even though it still is a wooden texture, is able to style it differently depending on what they're doing.
yeah.
Makes sense. The rest of you moves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Cool. While you're all sampling the food, you can hear a little bit of that argument happening in the kitchen still. It's gotten a little bit quieter. Also, one of the servers brings by little, it's bigger than a 3x5 card. Whatever those, you get little,
4x6.
yeah, it's a
Sorry.
flyer basically, right? But it's not a sheet of paper. It's a card that they're handing out to everyone. And yeah, but close to a half sheet of paper.
Okay.
but clearly a like magical printing press was involved here. It's very high quality. It's a little glossy in places.
The wizard Gutenberg.
Yes. But the chef, Glutenberg.
But what about Glutenberg?
Why not Gutenberg?
So the well, I've lost my own.
The card.
The chef
Oh,
and the card.
the card that's crossed by, yes. It is advertising the once a month life chit games, CHIT. Life chit is let's say 3 nights from now is the full moon, just one of the normal full moons, not like
Not the Kraken moon.
yeah, the Kraken moon's like 2.5 months away at this point. We are keeping accurate time records, which, as we know, is the only way to have a meaningful campaign. So, that is, it's just one of the flyers that's left on the table without any additional. She's just like going around trying to make sure every table gets them, and is hitting all. Someone else is hitting all the gaming tables, and then she leaves a stack of them on the bar. She's one of the servers here, not some random person. Yeah, 3 nights from now is Life Chit night.
What is Life Chit Night? And I look around at my companions.
If I had to guess.
Well, I'm curious what your guess would be.
My guess is that you gamble with time off your life.
How did you? Is it that obvious?
I'm that weird.
That is exactly the concept I had cooked up this afternoon in my notes of a gambling game where you get chips that are like minutes, hours, days, and you
I'm so sorry.
can gamble. No, that's
I'm just
fantastic.
such a weirdo.
I feel if anyone in this party would know it, it would probably be you.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think, well, maybe you had heard of some of this, but it seemed ridiculous to gamble with any amount of your life.
Yeah.
But it is a kind of a raucous thing. Like, they're expecting a lot more travelers will come in, and, some people win it big. And there isn't even, like, an empirical, like, yep, you definitely just lost yourself 17 days of your life.
Right.
Because
how would you track that?
Right.
Yeah.
There isn't a sense that everybody fully understands that that's 100% true and literal, but it is billed as such, right? And it's like endorsed by the Queen. She's not going to be here at the tavern, but like this is kind of like one of her celebratory nights is, this particular full moon is this tavern celebrates by. You have to like sign a thing in blood that says, okay, here's, 8 days of your life in chips, and that's whatever it is.
Is there a Viviomancer who can determine how many chips you can have?
I don't.
Like life?
Oh.
Yeah.
A Viviomancer? To be like, so you don't walk in and you're like, yeah, give me 50 years. And they're like, no.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, I'm the one to tell you this.
Maybe that's
You got 3
like
days.
somebody goes in like, yeah, give me a couple years worth, and the person behind the thing is like, ooh, I cannot.
Go home, talk to your family.
Yeah. I think that's happened. I think mostly the game is played in days, right? They have like days and hours as units of currency, but yeah,
Only the high stakes games
Yeah.
have months and years.
Yeah.
And that's
Those
on
are
a
hard to
casino
find.
ship off the coast.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
3 miles
real.
off the coast.
yeah.
Invite only, black bag.
Very-
kind
very
of,
proud
very
of it.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine going into the negatives. Okay, so
Oh my goodness. I just had a whole like horror side game
Yeah.
like idea.
yeah, it could get really dark.
I read a story with that concept.
Oh,
as part of
really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I want to learn. I want to hear about that later. Okay. So, what else do we need to do here at the Giant's Compass?
I need to go get you that dinner and find out the name of the chef. I do that. There you
Sure.
go.
Yeah, you
There,
find
just done.
Chef Kenny Spicer is still arguing with the delivery person in the back. There is a bushel of green, smaller than a fist-sized fruits that on a glance you would have said, oh, they're limes, I think. They sort of look like limes. But when you go to, take a look or whatever, it doesn't smell like limes. It smells like habanero had sex with a ghost pepper. And they were both really into it, but regretted it later. and,
Very specific.
didn't never call each other afterwards. But it was okay, but it was awkward. And that's
Very spicy.
yeah. Your eyes are watering a little bit.
Whew.
But most of the people in the kitchen don't seem to be that affected by it. But there is this bushel of fruits there, and Chef Spicer is telling this 15-year-old kid with a dolly, a push dolly, right? With this one little basket of limes on it. And Chef Spicer says, when I order a pallet of hell limes, you bring me a pallet of hell limes, not one bushel. And this kid is just would like to just melt into the floor, because he's got Gordon Ramsay yelling in his face, right? It's that level of he's not that toxic, but Spicer is being a dick. So
For a second, I thought you meant Gordon Ramsay wasn't that toxic, and I was
No.
wow.
Spicer is not that toxic. He's just, it's in this moment he is mad and didn't get the thing he paid for. It's just not this kid's fault.
Yeah.
So, and he doesn't, he's like, am I going to get a refund? The kid's like, I don't know. I just bring the thing. So,
Okay, I will just kind of stand behind the chef quietly, giving the kid a sympathetic look, but there's really nothing that he can do about it, but he also doesn't want to interrupt. But maybe if he keeps going on, he will interrupt so this kid can.
I bet you could find a way to distract Spicer if you wanted to give the kid an out.
I might just be, pardon, chef, we have a special order for something. Fish 7 ways, I believe, is one of your specialties.
It's comical, head whip around. And the kid just vanishes in a Wile E. Coyote kid-shaped dust cloud. And Spicer turns to Uzi and sees the kid is gone. He's like, oh, get that, Captain. Somebody ordered the fish 7 ways?
Yes, sir.
Who are you?
Sorry, I'm third of Fandris. I'm simply working here for a few hours in exchange for my laundry being done.
Okay. You're not part of my kitchen.
I am not, sir, no.
Get out.
I just came to send this order that someone requested. It's my first time in a restaurant. I'm sorry if this isn't how things work. I will get out of your hair
Roll
then.
a die.
Oh no. Why? It's a 3.
Our charming bard is struggling.
This guy is kind of
It
scary.
was an uphill battle and it was a bad time.
Yeah.
And, all right. Yeah. He says, get out of my kitchen. Get out of my bar.
Sir.
Don't ever come back. And you can hear Cave Cloak you can't kick people out of my restaurant.
He will exit the kitchen.
Um,
I return to the bar.
But yeah, you grab your clothes out of the laundry.
Oh, it's
and-
done. Okay.
Yeah. You realize you see your doublet. I don't know what it wears, but something peeking over the edge of
Shirt,
a
fancy coat.
basket.
Pants.
And
I'll just take these.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. Go get changed.
yeah, so you're
Scary.
so
Okay.
we're back out at the table. Fish 7 ways is ordered. Also, third, unfortunately, I have to remind you that I promised you a disadvantage
Yes.
when you go to audition
I remember.
because your voice has been strange.
Yes.
And I think breathing in that that
Hell lime.
the hell lime
Makes it
vapor
Mhm.
was a lot.
He's still like coughing a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, third comes
I
out
got
like
some water.
eyes are red, there's
Yeah. He'll pour himself some water and just kind of sip. Glad I'm not singing tonight. Food should be out in a bit, hopefully. I don't know, that chef, his name is Tenny Spicer. He's kind of mean.
Did he do that to you? With the point?
No, I saw these lime type things. I've never seen them before. They're very interesting. And then I went to sniff them, and apparently they're peppers. So it'll pass. It's fine. I should probably shut up and rest my voice anyway.
I think with third comes this wafting scent of like
Is that
still
strong?
citrus, but yeah, it's like clinging a little bit, and
It's
you're
like that mango
You're-
habanero.
yeah.
Sweet
Yeah.
and spicy.
Like run my tongue like inside my mouth to try to like capture all of the
Mhm.
essences of the scent in that weird way that people do.
Are you doing a blep?
Still,
tasting and sort of forget that your tongue's poking out a little bit. Okay, so
so we need to go go to the market while we're waiting for the food. Was that the plan?
Yes.
okay.
I'm just gonna
You
get some
also
white something.
have an audition in like half an hour at this point.
Yeah. It's okay. He'll just keep eating the charcuterie and trying to rest his voice. Well, waiting for you and a little concerned you might not be back in time before he has to go, but we'll see what happens.
Well, if we don't make it back from the market, we'll meet you at your audition. We
Yes,
will
I'll-
not abandon you, third.
Great.
No.
Good to know. It's a fun time.
You're part of the crew.
Sal, can you roll a die for me?
Of course. That looks like a 7.
Okay.
A mixed success.
You have I'm gonna say this memory is from before you were fully sapient.
Okay.
But you remember Chef Spicer by name, at least. You remember somebody by that name being aboard your ship, you, and transporting them at some point.
Okay.
It's a little hazy. Maybe if you, I don't know, really meditated or something, some way to pull it. But this name is familiar, and you don't really know shit about chefs. So,
Do I have a vague sense of what Spicer looked like?
Yeah.
Tenny Spicer, you said. About 6 foot, spiky brown hair.
He just nods at all of this.
No, I wouldn't have anything that specific, I don't think.
Like what?
I was about to say, like a mole or something, but I don't think that my impression
maybe
is
not.
that
Yeah.
it is that strong.
Yeah, but like height and size and that
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Treads very heavily.
Has
He
a
nods,
peg leg.
He kind of gives that. He kind of does his like impersonation without being like. And he's making angry gestures and face.
The audience knows Third has captured these gestures perfectly.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I have a skill to do that. But
Yeah.
Think I may have transported this chef in the past.
Interesting.
It's unclear.
No, you definitely did transport it. But you
Right,
can't
but I
remember
mean,
why or what the context
right.
was.
That's
or,
what I meant.
Yeah.
This is enough of a mystery that I'm going to go poke my head in the door and see if it sparks anything else.
Okay. Yeah. You get up, walk back. I think first you see Cave Cloak, the owner of the place. And he waves at you, says, "You've done enough. Thank you for your help. We're okay back here."
I think I might know your chef. I just wanted to poke my head in for a moment.
Oh. Sure, I can't see any harm in that. Just, if he throws something at you, don't stay in there.
No, of course.
I do give him free run of the kitchen.
Yeah. So I will.
Cave Cloak is muttering about artist types, creatives.
The worst.
Yeah. So I will. I'll head into the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Into there, and I assume that he's in the middle of making fish 7 ways.
Yeah, he's got like 3 sous chefs. Or I guess you can, whatever. I don't know how kitchens work. The point is,
It's your world.
there's
If
a bunch of people in this world. There can be 3 sous chefs. But they're all working on different components of this. And at this point, he's actually not screaming in their faces or anything. He is like completing things and being a little curt of like, that's done, that's not done, redo that part, and then but is also working. Right? He's not just like, oh, you're terrible at this, and you suck for being terrible. So yeah, it's mostly just a really busy kitchen. He doesn't even really look up and see you.
Okay.
But he's 100% familiar. Like, you have seen this guy.
Do I have any other sense of memory about him?
You remember Gallant talking to him, and all you remember is Gallant looking at him and saying, again? And then the memory's over.
Okay.
Hmm.
Excuse me, chef.
Yes? Like, looks up this 8-foot-tall being coming through the door.
I think we have a common acquaintance. Captain Gallant.
Yes, I'm familiar with the captain. Is there something wrong? You work for him?
Not anymore.
Do we know each other?
You sailed on my ship,
I think I would remember sailing with you.
the Salamander.
Salamander.
I was at the very front.
I've sailed on the Salamander at least 3 times.
You may remember me.
No kidding. But for the listener, Nick just posed as the
figurehead.
Yeah. But yeah, he actually, like, his eyebrows go up and he's like, "Well, you're the figurehead of the ship?"
Yes.
I have to finish what I'm doing right now. This is baffling to me. Can you come and talk to me after the kitchen closes?
I believe so, yes.
All right, and tell Gallant I'm not going to need his services anytime soon.
I hope to never speak with him again.
That's even more confusing. I have to get back to work.
Of course, I'll leave you to it.
So,
Hmm.
would we like to fast forward to Third's audition?
Yes. Okay. I was gonna say unless we need a shop for white stuff, if you want to do that first.
I mean, we're going to. Like,
I think we can all just describe what we
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need
Okay.
a whole
Yeah. Okay.
montage.
Plus, that audition it's getting to be a time-sensitive issue
Yeah.
at this
Right.
point. So,
All right. I have to go to
I do want to know
You can-
how the fish 7 ways tastes.
So what
No, that's
what are the 7 ways? I'm not familiar with that dish.
well, we just made it up. I think.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh, okay.
fancy-
It sounded like it
Whichever
was a
7
real
ways
thing.
you can think to make fish.
So you have a braised fish. You have
Grilled.
a
Gumbo.
fried.
Gumbo.
You have a
Sashimi.
Yeah.
sashimi. You have a stew/gumbo.
Braised.
You got I said braised.
Grilled,
Grilled. So that's 5.
deep fried.
I think we did
We
fry
got
on there.
that. We got fried.
Uh,
And then
Sauteed
you have,
in wine or something.
One
You
in a
actually
sweet
have-
sauce.
salted.
Made into a pate, like a
yes,
spread.
like you have a fish pate, and
Oh,
then you have
fish eggs?
essence of fish,
Mm.
which is actually a it is a very large, like, eggshell that you crack open and just inhale.
You don't eat anything. You just like breathe it in.
Molecular gastronomy.
Fantastic.
I love that you're both writing this down. Like, it's important to know.
I mean,
I had to
Yeah.
know.
This will come back.
yeah.
So
They're food
In
reviewers.
the Iron Chef episode.
Actually, given that, did I have you all roll when you learned Spicer's name?
No.
Okay, you two should roll. Especially with a little bit of extra background from
13.
16.
Okay. Yeah, if this is the same person, this guy has not been kicked out of places, but he has walked out of, like, he's known for having stormed out of restaurants and the city. Like, just middle finger to the air, like, fuck you, you don't appreciate me, on more than one occasion. So,
So you're saying he's Wolfgang Fuck.
yeah. Wolfgang, go fuck yourself. Wolfgang? No one is called Wolfgang. Sorry.
My luthier is named Wolfgang.
It's a quote from Sense8.
I know.
So that I think the two of you lock eyes and realize that, wait, can it be that Spicer? It's not that unusual a name, but for a chef in particular, you know. But if it's that guy,
It sounds like with the attitude that it might be.
Best enjoy his work while he's still here.
Save the essence for last.
I don't think any of these really do it for Sal. The gumbo a little bit, the fish stew. But I think that they take a forkful, a bite of each of the items, and kind of nods and says, "I'm not seeing it."
there's
I'm not
mashed up
tasting it.
protein in my mouth.
Yeah.
And the essence?
It reminds me of the sea.
All right, I'm gonna blip away from that to I think the three of you are finishing the meal while Third goes upstairs.
Need to run off.
Yeah, and then
See
you're
y'all
gonna
up there. Hopefully.
follow him up there eventually. I think was that the plan or
Yeah.
yeah,
think so.
okay. So Third, when you get up to 10th, you can see like a lot of the floors. You walk out onto the floor and it's just kind of an open marketplace kind of thing. But getting out on 10th, getting out of the elevator is kind of like showing up at a really fancy condo or something, you know, where you get out of the elevator and it's their front door. You know, like this whole floor belongs to Last Call.
Okay.
Last Call on 10th.
Oh, I see.
And there's a ornate kind of it's not literally a chalkboard. There's like it's probably like a magical script board of some kind announcing the specials this week of there is Kraken caviar, hell lime and ginger crispies, spike fish with hell lime sauce, and hell lime cheesecake.
We found out who bought all the hell lot.
Noted. Will not be having any of that tonight.
But when you go to the door, you can see there are a few people gathered, like obvious performers. You know, someone has a lute and someone's dressed as like to tap dance. Like, I guess like it's a weird restaurant poll, but okay.
You know, variety is this hell lime spice of life. I'm just there with my book bag and colorful coat.
Yeah. But you know, before too long, there are they make an announcement like, okay, everyone, we're moving to the open audition part of this. Please, everybody come into the main dining room. And, there's probably like 8 or 10 of you left to audition. And there are maybe 24 people in the dining room that could sit maybe 60, right?
Okay.
So, there's a little bit of a stage at one end, kind of like the dining room at the fancy place in the Rocketeer, where they had like a big band stage at one end, and this is all the like tables and stuff, and some like statuary and fountains and
Fancy.
Yeah. This is the fantasy French Laundry, the definitely upper end of things.
I'm picturing like that white dining room from the Great Muppet Caper where they had like the whole dance number with Miss Piggy.
Sure.
That's ridiculous. Anyway.
But yeah, you're let's
I went to the opening scene of the second Indiana Jones movie,
Yeah.
Fancy Club.
I don't recall. Oh. But anyway, you're 6th in line
Okay.
to do your audition. And you wait, the tap
No, he's
dancer
third.
is- No, third is 6th.
Oh, this is toilet paper math. I get it.
Look, I'll figure out how to incorporate who's on third at some point in the show. I just don't know what episode. But anyway.
That's no one's business.
Yeah, who's on third is a very personal question. So you see the luthier, somebody who builds lutes.
Yes.
What's a lute player?
A
Looter?
looter?
A musician? I don't know. A lute player.
Luthier?
A musician.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, a guitar player is just a guitar player.
Guitarist.
A lutist?
A guitarist?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lutist, I
mind.
suppose.
And a
Yeah.
bassist, yeah. So
Yeah.
a lutist.
Lutist.
All right.
Sounds
It's a
offensive.
little elitist, but we'll allow it.
I went to a ludist beach once, and it was just kind of an uncomfortable.
Not what you
Yeah.
expected. So noisy. The seagulls were bad.
Right.
So the lutist goes fine. The bagpiper's a bit of a shock. Indoor bagpipes are not usually the right tool for the job. There's a little sort of magical muffling on the instrument, but it's not enough. And you just see everybody in the everybody in the restaurant are either you can identify kind of probably that's the owner's table, right, and their immediate family. The chef is and their team is sitting off to one side. You can some of the servers are here actually like eating dinner for during the auditions.
It wouldn't be so bad if this club wasn't hewn out of rock.
Yes. Yeah. And you see everybody wince and like flinch back from the violence of indoor bagpipe.
For bagpipes.
Having
That's a great
bagpipe
band name.
inflicted
Indoor
on you.
bagpipes.
But everyone sits through it and the piper is dismissed.
Bagpipe
Somebody
bomb.
goes out and beats it with his own pipe.
How dare you?
This is a place of mourning.
The tap dancer
They play Amazing Grace.
taps. But eventually it's your turn
Okay.
and you're called up.
I'm actually nervous. All right.
Can we say by this point
Yeah.
we would have...
Yeah, and people have been trickling in at this point, the general public, where you're invited to sit in this like back row of tables where it's not the normal arrangement for dinner, but there's a bunch of tables set up in the back that the general public is allowed to come sit at. There's a little purple rope that you're not supposed to go in front of, but you can sit here and watch the auditions, right?
Sal has a tatted lace veil that has skull motifs worked into it.
Oh, neat.
Love it.
Okay.
And then it's just pinned into their hair.
Okay. And then we said your wooden hair, it still like flows and moves, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's strands of wood.
It's absolutely wood, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I love it. Yeah, I really like that image. I mean, your body moves like an organic body, so why shouldn't your hair?
Why wouldn't
move
the
like
hair?
Yeah.
Raspberries taste like raspberries.
What's that from?
Snozzberries. Tastes like
That's Willy
snozzberries.
Wonka.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just his hair moves like hair.
Madness.
All right, third.
Wood hair,
Do
don't
you have
care.
anything
Um,
special that you want to do? For this?
Well, here's my question. If he gets his performance, do you want me to do like a whole performance later? Because if not, I'm just going to describe what he's doing for the audition.
I mean, you can handle this however you want.
All right,
If you have something in mind.
my
that
plan
you
was to
wanna-
do just a description for the audition,
That's
and then
fine.
if he gets it, we'll do a whole thing, and I'll involve
Sure.
everyone and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of rifles through his books, figuring what this audience is like. They might be a little more somber. So he gets up on stage, he introduces himself, and he says, I'm going to tell you this tale. And throughout the story, he's going to use magic tricks to create sound effects. So like wind blowing, thumps,
Ooh.
create scents and stuff like that. So he begins to tell this tale of a young man he's living in an apartment with this old man. And this old man has this like really creepy looking eye, like it's kind of filmy and blue, like a vulture. And he's like, that eye is evil. This, I think I have to kill this man. And so for 7 nights, the man, he spies on the old guy while he's sleeping. And every night at midnight, he peeks in. And on the 8th night, he finally sums up the courage. He starts to open the door. There's the slightest creak, and you hear the of the door creaking. And the man shoots awake. He's heard something. He's like, who's there? I know something's there. And the young man just kind of stays still. And for an hour, they're at a standstill like this. And the young man finds it maddening. He's like, I can't take it anymore. This eye is evil. I have to do this. And he bursts into the room. He grabs the old man. He throws him on the floor. And then he picks up the bed and like, well, he doesn't pick up the whole bed, but he picks up the bed and like drops it on the man and crushes him and kills him. And, you hear, the sound of the bed hitting the floor and the scream of an old man and a squelching of body parts.
Okay.
So it's very vivid. So then he dismembers the body in the bathtub, and then he pulls up the floorboards, and he buries the pieces of the body under the floor, and he cleans up everything. And by the time he's done, it's dawn, and he thinks, wow, look how perfectly I did this. I think I just got away with a perfect murder. But then there's a knock at the door, and these 3 police officers show up. And they say, we heard someone scream in the middle of the night. And she goes, oh, no, that was just me. Everything's fine. Pulling up a sound effect. So he invites the police in, and they said, look around. Yes, he says, go ahead, take a look around. You see everything's fine. I just had a bad dream. So they look around, and they don't see anything. But the young man starts to hear this sound, this very strange, and it seems to be coming from the floorboards. And so the police say, oh, yeah, everything seems fine. Maybe have some tea. And so the guy says, yes, look how clever I am. I will set their chairs over the floorboards where I buried this body. And so they're sitting there and they're having tea. And the man finds it very strange that the officers don't hear this noise. It's coming from the floorboards. Like, what is wrong here? Clearly they can hear the sound. Why are they just sitting there chatting? And the sound of this beating heart just keeps driving him insane. And eventually he just shouts and he confesses to the crime and he rips up the floorboards and he shows them this body that he had dismembered. And yet somehow it is not still the dead man's beating heart. And then he goes on.
Fantastic.
Yes. The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, everybody.
Yes.
Summarized.
Third, I would like to offer you a deal.
Okay.
I have rolled a die in secret. I
Uh-huh.
have my thumb on the result. You may either roll with your disadvantage, or you may accept my secret roll that I will tell you about later.
Okay. That sounds far more interesting. Also, this die has rolled very poorly
It's
for me tonight.
extremely rude to you.
Yeah. It's probably because I called it extra, because it is.
I
And
mean,
I think your option sounds very interesting, so I'm going to go with that
the
because.
odds are in your favor to accept my deal, but I already know the result.
Mhm.
So
All right, no, I'm going to go with that because I like interesting options, and also when you audition, sometimes they just say thank you, and then you don't know till
Okay.
later. So he
We'll let you know.
thank you,
I'm
and
gonna
then he'll.
let it change.
Mhm.
I know what the result was. I will bring that up
Tell me later.
They thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll call
Tell
you,
me.
don't call us. And they move to audition the rest of the people there. So the four of you can head out.
That was a riveting tale.
Thank you.
Did the heart
I'm
ever
glad
stop
it-
beating?
Well, I think it was on
Or
the
did it
man's
haunt
head.
him for the rest of his days, knowing what he's done, unable to find relief? Did it haunt him until the end of his life?
Well, the author doesn't say. Perhaps I should write that sequel.
But
Anyway, we
story is
have,
knowing when to stop.
Yeah. Yes.
What young bard has ever known when to stop?
True. Yes, don't we have a queen to meet? I suppose
We do.
And what white item did you bring for him to wear?
Oh yes,
'Cause
please
you went
have
shopping.
picked out. So can Sal have picked it out for him?
Sure.
What do you think Sal saw in the marketplace? You know, and I think we're up at the like crossroad marketplace up on top, and you know, there's all kinds of stalls and you know, merchants and fabric sellers and all kinds of stuff. Sal saw something and was like, "Oh, Third will love this." It wasn't a mystery. Sal's not confused or unsure. Saw something. What was it?
I think Sal saw a white lacquered, like a gorget.
I don't know what that is.
So would like cover the neck and then down a little bit over the chest
Like
and
a
shoulders.
vest?
No, it's kind of like the armored collars. That
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so it just goes around the top part of your body.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And
I do
it's
know what that
it's made out of white lacquered pieces of wood that are sort of overlapping like a scale
Mhm.
pattern, and then it has a blood red piping all
Ooh.
around the edge of it.
Okay.
Sal, this is beautiful.
It made me think of you.
Thank you. You seem to know my taste quite well already. I can't wait to put it on. And then he opens it up and puts it on. Huh? How do I look?
It suits you quite well.
And he's just beaming because he loves it.
You
he
look
loves
ready
it.
to be received by a queen.
Good. I must prepare myself to meet the queen.
How does Third feel about the audition? You know, when you walk out of an audition,
He
you're
thinks-
like, did that go well?
He thinks he did all right, but maybe this one part he could have described better, and his voice was still a little hoarse, and maybe he didn't quite convey everything exactly with the drama he wanted to. But he thinks it went all right, but he couldn't really read the judges, so he's a little nervous. But
Yeah.
trying to let it go.
Yeah, and well, no, Third has performed for like restaurants and bars before, so it's not like the first time people were eating. He's not like a
Yeah.
concert performer.
No, he's probably done a few little things locally, the coffee shops,
Yeah.
the bars kind of thing, but nothing major.
I've heard that can be unsettling for people who are used to performing on a stage, and then they go to do like a dinner theater or something, and people are like, oh, you know,
There's always distractions.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
learn how to tune it out.
yeah, but sometimes stage
Mhm.
performers have trouble adjusting to that.
Mhm.
It's understandable, I think, but also, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the four of you need to make your way to the palace. You learn that it's centered on the island east to west, but it's definitely more at the northern end. It's like in that kind of centered in that curved part that would be the top of the tombstone.
Mm.
It's up there. So the whole thing is about 50 miles long. That's about 40 miles long to get to the palace. So there are horses for hire. There are carriages for hire. We could do a double marathon and just run it out. And I don't think you can make it there
Do
in
I
2
look like
hours.
a runner in this outfit? Darling, no.
There are no human runners who can run 40 miles in 2 hours. Doesn't exist. This much I know.
Walt doesn't like carriages. He would probably ride a horse or run it.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna miss it if you try to run it.
Well, I'm not riding a carriage. That's a contraption. It's a steel trap.
You could ride in the driver's seat with the driver.
The horses are latched onto the contraption.
Yes. That's how it works.
I will take a single horse.
I don't think I can ride a horse.
Yes, we will.
Well, I
you and
think
will
a
be safe.
draft horse could probably manage it.
Yeah, but they probably don't rent draft horses since those are
Oh,
put to
yeah.
work with.
I'm sure we can hire a carriage.
We could
For you.
hire an open carriage. How about that?
I don't think that's the problem that Wall has with it. I think it's the fact that it is a carriage.
We
What
will
a
take
silly
the
thing to
carriage.
fear.
There is an open carriage option.
Very well.
I don't mean to force that on you. If you want to take a horse and ride with us, I would take no offense at that.
No, if anything goes wrong with the carriage, I should be there.
Well, but you could ride a horse next to the carriage.
No, if I'm on top of the carriage, then I'm in control.
Third thinks this is absolutely ridiculous, but okay, fine. I love this so much.
I can see if I can rent 2 horses, if you'd prefer.
I don't think that.
What would you do with 2 horses?
Have them run next to each other.
Are you saying Sal would sit astride 2 horses?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like Van
So,
Damme
like,
with the splits.
That is a very creative idea, and I applaud you for it, but I don't think that's quite how they work. We would be best off getting a carriage, and we don't have much time. So let's just do the simplest thing. We'll get a carriage. We'll head to the palace.
Open carriage.
Open carriage, yes.
Sure.
So you can jump out at any moment that you need to, Wall. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Excellent. Carriage.
It serves the added benefit that Sal's head won't hit the top of it because they are probably.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Right.
An inside carriage would have been very like getting into my car the other night. So, while you're arranging the carriage, the driver is like, oh, yeah, let me get everything hitched up and ready to go. And, that's fine. While you have a brief flash,
Mm-hmm.
battlefield moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be clear, too, that we're not, like, making light of PTSD or like, flashback syndrome or anything like that, right? This is a different thing
Yeah.
that we're not making light. But you have this memory experience of...
And sorry, to be clear, Wall gave consent for all of this
yes,
as well. So this isn't foisted on him.
thank you. Yes. Also good to point out, GMs, players, talk about this shit before you jump into something wild.
Yeah.
But you have this image of a great big pure white warhorse rearing up on its back legs, but it is, and you're on foot, but it's not a fearful moment. It's a like, fuck yeah, fucking go moment, right? But the person astride, their helmet is down, you can't tell who it is, and it's just this moment of like that thrilling chill, like chills go up your spine, the goosebumps, and then you deep breath and you're out of it again.
Is the sense like, yeah, that's something I'm rooting for, or is that like I'm awed because that's my enemy, kind of?
No, that was your team,
Okay.
right?
Awesome.
Whatever it was that was happening was
Right.
like,
We're turning this around.
yeah, that was
Got
a
it.
leader that you like literally looked up to, but also like,
Hell yeah.
well, all right, let's turn this around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
So, is there any sort of outward indication that you've had an experience?
Wall's grinning.
Oh, that might
Yeah.
be a little unsettling for people.
He's kind of like got this middle distance stare, but he's kind of grinning. And to prepare for the meeting with the queen, Wall is wearing just a shoulder cloak that's completely white.
It's very
Hi.
handsome on you.
Yes.
What does Lucky have?
I got kind of a mid-length, kind of scarf that I've wrapped
Mm-hmm.
around.
Kind of like
my-
1920s jalopy driver, like that kind of thing.
I was thinking more like, you know how like if you see women with their saris and they kind of
Oh
like
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like the Dupatos?
yes,
Sure.
Mm.
Okay.
but also kind of kind of nice. Like, I mean, it's the same effect, I guess.
But more of a like sari fabric than a like scarfy fabric. Yeah. Okay. Or at least how I think of saris as like less heavy fabric. Is that normally true?
It depends. I
Yeah,
mean, you
okay.
make them out of cotton and silk, and you end up wearing like 6 yards of fabric. So yes, it tends to be
Yeah.
thinner.
Okay. Sure. Okay. As you all are getting in, there are running hoofbeats, not like running for their lives, but like this is a gallop coming up, and alongside comes on a medium kind of white mottled gray horse mare, and the scribe from the haunt house is riding this horse. She kind of pulls up alongside before your carriage has started going anywhere, and I don't think we ever named her.
No,
Just
I don't think we did.
blonde 20-something scribe.
Mm.
I don't have blonde 20-something scribe name generator.
Kelly.
All right. It's done. We don't know if that's her first name or her last name. Scribe Kelly is how
Yeah.
we know her. I'm picturing is Alicia Silverstone the one from Legally Blonde?
No, that's
No.
Reese with
Reese Witherspoon
Yes,
is who I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
Alicia Silverstone is clueless.
Clueless.
Yes, also a great movie.
Mm.
Oh, Mean Girls is another one that my wife hadn't seen, and we watched recently, and
Oh.
it also holds up.
Yeah.
This is going to be our weekly. We watched a movie, and it holds up. There's
May
also
they all hold up as
there's-
well.
some movies from back then that really don't,
Yeah.
and we just have to thank them for their service, and
Mhm.
There's a
acknowledge
time and a place, and this is not it.
they no longer spark
It
joy.
was.
Thank you for your service.
Yes. Okay, so Scribe Kelly rides up and is a little rushed, not like panicked for her life or anything. She's like, wait. I need to check. And you can see like the back of her saddle is specially rigged to hold lots of scroll cases. There's probably like 8 scroll cases stacked on each other
Mm.
in a little, well, if there's 9 of them, it could be like a little pyramid shape, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's do that.
Tens of pyramid.
10 is what I said. What
Yeah.
did you hear?
10.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Who would say 9? That's weird.
Yeah.
So she pulls up and has a just like a little pocket journal, maybe yay big, a little bigger than your hand, and a pencil. And she says, quickly, I do need to know how you want to be addressed by the queen.
I am called Wall.
Just no, Sir Wall or
I am not a sir.
Knight.
You can call me Wall.
Castle guard wall. Guard wall.
Guard Wall.
All right. Guard Wall.
Sorry, I'm just gonna die. It's so funny.
And Wall is completely straight-faced with all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ambassador
Joshi.
Joshi.
Mm. In this capacity, at least.
And your friends.
Companions.
I think at the same time,
Wow.
yeah, yes.
And how would you like to be
Oh,
addressed?
my name. A third of Andros would be quite all right. Thank you.
Any title or third is your title.
Close enough, yes. Mr. Andros is perfectly fine.
Do you prefer Mr. Ofandris?
Whatever the queen wishes to call me is perfectly fine.
That stresses Kelly out.
Yeah.
That answer is like, I have to.
My first name is Third, last name Ofandris. No titles of nobility.
I'm gonna put down Mr. Ofandris if that's okay
That's
with you.
perfectly fine.
Okay. I have to. She
Breathe.
appreciates clear, concise information, and I
Sounds like my older brother.
would like to deliver that to her.
Understood.
When you say companions, when Scribe Kelly says friends, like it's like, oh,
Mm.
lucky thought, she made a friend. Sad.
But we're
Sad
going
cat.
for a queen, and it seemed to inform. Anyway, we can have this talk in the carriage. if
Yeah,
you
I'm
want
looking
to.
forward to
Yeah.
revisiting that. And I'm probably gonna
Does Kelly look over at Sal?
kind of, but more like I don't think she really recognizes you as a person right away.
So as Kelly kind of like begins to turn away, I say, "The free ship Salamander."
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. She's like furiously writing down the free ship Salamander. It's an honor to make your acquaintance. I've never met a ship before.
Few have.
Okay, well, I'll see you there. And when she takes off.
Wall returns the orichalcum bauble.
She's gone.
Oh, okay.
Even if you're like...
Then it's going on eBay.
Yeah, if you're trying to like hand it to her, it's like, she's
Okay.
like, that's not mine.
All right.
Etheric Bay, yes, I've heard of that.
Long ago, merchants sold to each other in offshore ways, under the radar, under the watch of the Rice Company. We sold it to each other through the eBay, the Eastern Bay.
That's my favorite song from Little Mermaid. Under the Radar.
I was thinking of the eBay song by Weird Al, but
Yeah, me too.
I don't know that one.
Thank you. We'll explain after.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So now when she rides off like a demon. Like, it is full on gallop, just gone within moments.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah. And she is in a kind of a formalish, like half trench coat, right? Like comes down to thigh length, basically. And under that is like a button-up shirt, and nothing real frilly, but all of it is white. And boots are white. It's not at all what she was wearing earlier, but it doesn't appear to be her mission. So I think we have to have a conversation in the carriage now. The carriage takes off. You've got probably an hour's worth of ride at this point. You'll get there a little before you're supposed to get there. And it's a beautiful night. It is a little chilly, I think we said, right? At this time of year, it's like close to tropical range, but also sort of winter. So it's like in the 60s maybe. And yeah. So.
Only acquaintances.
Sorry?
Only acquaintances.
Who's only acquaintances?
Apparently we are.
What do you mean by that?
What did you mean by that?
I said companions. It felt like a formal... Do you think I don't like you?
I didn't until you said that we weren't friends.
I was just trying to be formal. I thought it might be strange if they said
It's
the
all
guard
right.
and the ambassador
You're-
and their friends.
You're a passenger, and we consider you crew. You're not under obligation to regard us as friends. If you don't want to.
Well, maybe I do. I mean, it hasn't been that long, but you've all treated me very well and welcomed me aboard. You haven't treated me like I'm some pain in your ass, and I do like you. I just didn't think that friends was an appropriate word to address ourselves to the Queen, that's all. Please don't take it personally.
But if it's true, why would it be inappropriate?
I don't know. She's a queen. It felt too informal to me. You're really offended, aren't you?
No, I don't know what you're talking.
I don't take offense to such things.
That's a lie.
You're all terrible liars, and you
just
have a
think
lot
that
to learn
it's-
from me.
I just was a little surprised since we affirmed that you were part of the crew earlier tonight.
Yes, but a crew and a friend isn't necessarily the same thing. It's not that they aren't mutually exclusive.
We can spend the rest of this ride in contemplative silence.
driver leans over his shoulder like, I really think you ought to talk this out.
Like you. I genuinely like you. Do you know how relieved I was to see you come to my audition?
We were never going to abandon you.
Well, that meant a lot to me. So, thank you all for coming. If I get it, then I hope that you would be my guests at the show.
You'll get it.
Unless
no
there's some kind of
guarantee.
hanky-panky.
I don't use crew lightly.
And he
I-
thinks about that, and he kind of realizes what you're saying.
You're not a passenger aboard our vessel. You are a guest, a friend, and a companion in our home.
Wow. Didn't realize.
But we can keep this professional and attend to our business.
Not everything has to be professional.
Wall's at this point just egging you on.
God damn it.
No, but Sal is being sincere. Sal is being sincere about. I haven't extended that. I haven't extended that status to Cotail.
Thank you for clarifying. This is my first time as a crew member of a ship. I suppose there's like cultural
You don't
differences.
say.
I just did.
Wall kind of just shoulder checks you a bit, kind of playfully.
Has Third been out of Spire Creek Town area?
Yeah, I mean, he's from another nearby island that I call Eversummer. So I think
It's cold there, yeah?
always, yeah, it's freezing. So the Spire was kind of his first stop on his journey. So like maybe he was a passenger on board a ship, but that was maybe a couple days where he paid his own way. He wasn't like a crew
Right.
member. So this is the first time like traveling with a crew of people. It's his first adventuring party. He's discovering the friendship. It's only been like 2 weeks, you guys.
It's really sweet.
It feels only been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Not even quite 2 weeks, really. It's like 12 days
Yeah.
or something. Like,
Very short period of time. But I'll tell you this. If I didn't enjoy your companionship and your friendship and your acceptance, I would have left once we got to shore. I would have found my own inn and done my own auditions, and I wouldn't have we wouldn't have gone shopping, and we wouldn't have found that tavern, and I would have been on my merry way. But I decided to stay with you. Because I do like you. Even you. And then he shoulder checks the wall back in the same way.
love it. Anything else we should resolve?
I guess
while we're on the ride?
it's fine.
Should we know anything
Oh.
about the queen before we are received?
I mean, she is the queen, but we are approaching her as part of the consulate. And she is an ambassador.
Are we to be your entourage?
Ugh.
No, we're her friends. We just had this discussion.
and this sort of disembodied voice trailing behind the carriage, like, Lucky has friends.
Some of us are liked by people.
And there's just Arjun chuckling into the distance.
No, I mean, Wall and I are already employed by the consulate. The two of you have a choice.
Well, if there's a job, I'm certainly open to hearing what the offer is.
And that is what this meeting is for. Which is better be what this meeting is for.
What else would it be for? All right. Well,
Awkward
Contemplative
moments of
silence.
silence.
that's good. That's good.
We're doing Wall's bit now.
Yeah.
Contemplative silence for the rest of the run.
When I was a boy of 7, my father, and then we just cut away.
We'll launch us into this long story that's wrapping as
Yeah.
we cut back
Yeah.
to the carriage pulling up in front.
And that was the day I was called Wall forevermore. I trust
Third,
you'll not,
third is
know that
taking
now.
notes.
trust
on the
you'll not
story.
repeat this story to anyone else ever again.
Seventh crosses out. sorry, third, wrong character. Third crosses out. They were just arrived.
I like the internal mythology, Courtney, that you've built up around your characters. This, like, I know you've played through
Yeah.
these characters in other spots, and it's fun to be on the periphery of like, oh, what is this
Yes.
character all about?
Yes.
I'm,
I'll explain at the end of the show who seventh is anyway.
I'm enjoying it.
I love it. I want to meet Seven. I want to meet all. I really want to meet Second.
You'd like her. Lucky would like her a lot. We'll have that chat another carriage ride. I'll tell you about
All
the
right.
family and the siblings.
When you arrive, there is a great big driveway in the round with a big round fountain in the middle, and it's notable that there's no water in the fountain, but it seems really intentional, and that the fountain is dry, and that's some sort of allegorical statement that's being made or something. But it is sort of a seahorses galloping through waves. The like center of the fountain, the actual statue piece is this sort of not montage, but like a collection of different scenes that would be highlighted by a spouting fountain, but fountain is dry. And, the driver actually makes has like added a couple things, like as your story was winding down, he's like, oh, if you look over here, you'll see the apple groves, and in here, this is the dry fountain, and kept that way to sort of muttering, and who knows.
It's literally just making stuff up based on what he sees.
For sure, yes.
Yeah, Wall's been here before.
Yeah.
That's not the story.
The Royal Bats crossing, yes. Oh, what an honor that they would
Fascinating.
fly across the way for us.
They're indigenous to the area.
Oh, so that's what makes them royal. I see.
But as the carriage pulls up, it's I would say this palace is more along the lines of like the country houses in Downton Abbey kind of thing. It's not like palace. This is what they're calling the Queen's Palace. It's like a really big house, and it's nice. Yeah, it's a huge estate, but it's not like a Buckingham Palace kind of thing. Is that different?
Yeah,
Makes sense?
yeah. Not a castle.
Right. Yeah, it's not a
It's a
castle.
manor.
It's a manor.
mansion.
There are, even though it's dark, the mostly full moon is up, right? Because it's going to be full moon in 3 nights. It lights up. There's all this like rolling green and beautiful grass. You can see there is like a little cemetery, kind of maybe 100 yards off the road, off to one side. That is worth noting.
Is it a party cemetery or is it a quiet cemetery?
It looks like a quiet one. There's not really anyone, or if anyone's over there, they're being quiet and subtle. It's not like there's no like disco ball or anything. So, but I'm glad Pooja mentioned this, that in this world that the Queen of Death is notably a celebratory figure, right? She hosts a lot of parties and has a lot of good times. Also, will honor the dead in somber ceremonies when that's appropriate. But her station is a lot more along the lines of like a figure like Baron Samedi, who's party until you're dead, because you're gonna wind up that way no matter what. So
Eat,
might as
drink,
well
and be merry.
yeah, have fun on the way. And dead's not that bad anyway. And especially in this world where we now have established there is certainly some sort of afterlife, and that is a whole rich experience as well. So, yeah.
complete with bureaucracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Okay, so the carriage pulls up. Does sound like there's crickets in here.
There is.
There is.
Mm.
Yeah. We're approaching the manor. It seems
Yes.
the crickets of the manor.
Yes, yeah.
The royal crickets.
Yes, the driver points out the royal crickets,
Yeah.
and
No, very lucky, very lucky.
what an honor it is that they would sing for your arrival.
Mm.
Sal's lapping all this up.
Is he like believing it?
They.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Sal has no reason. Sal spends most of their time out on the sea,
Yes.
so inland is a bit of a mystery. So to find out, the royal bats and the royal crickets and
Okay, I love it. That's very good. There are a number of people here as well. Some people are walking, and you can see there are just some super fine, like that sparkly white gravel. Like it's not quartz, but it's like really fine granite. I think is what they usually make that out of. Essentially granite gravel. Just beautiful, stark, sparkly white walkways. And there are gardens on either side, where you can walk all the way around the house, and it's a whole sort of nice experience that you can go and experience that. An experience that you can experience. Well said, Game Master. And I just want to lay out the scene that there are goings on, right? There isn't one giant ceremony that you've arrived to take part in. There are people gathered on the steps that are chit-chatting about something. You can see probably some house staff, off to one side smoking and chit-chatting, and they're not like required to hide behind the house or something. They're just, doing their jobs. Their liveries are a combination of black and white things, and you can see, in fact, the banners are they're like a white background with the black that spiral thorn pattern with a rose kind of superimposed on it. So the black rose is part of the Queen's imagery here. Right. So you disembark from your carriage, and there's really no one here to greet you specifically. There are stairs that go up to, to enter this. It is just a mansion, but like I think the entrance is up almost a whole floor. I think the bottom floor is like half basement, half above. And so the first floor is you have to go up a little bit to get in there. And it's got like kind of broad sweeping porch stairs, and but the great big double front doors are just open, and you can see people milling around. It's some sort of open house, or maybe it's always like this. But
And you're sure she said midnight?
Yes.
Okay. Very strange that there's no one out here to greet us.
is it?
Is it?
Is
No,
it?
never
I
been
don't know. I've never met a queen before.
I have several, but not a queen of death.
I'm sure she's very nice. Shall we head in?
Yes.
We'll head in.
all right.
I would like to kind of see if there are, like, in addition to the live servants, if she has spiritual servants, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if there are a lot of like not spirit creatures around.
Most of you do see some ghosts, but most of them seem like they are also in that sort of like cocktail party conversation. There's like three ghosts over in that part of the house that are just having a casual conversation with each other. No one's like dragging their chains around or anything like that. And it doesn't look like any of the servants, anyone in livery is like, there's no like skeletons in livery or zombies or anything like that. And other than that, it doesn't seem like there are any sort of real overt spiritual presences.
Jason, I don't think that Sal can feel the spirits outside of the ship.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that I know that there are others besides Arjun.
Okay.
And I think Arjun just because of familiarity. So I don't think I pick up on any of that either.
Okay. Cool. Well, I would say you're noticing more than you.
I'm starting
used
to remember how to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just impressing yourself on onto your perception.
Mhm.
I suppose. And, yeah.
Third's oblivious.
Yep. Love it.
Well, I guess we just go in. I mean, we have an appointment.
Yeah. The entrance it's a grand hall. There's like a double stairway up, around a centerpiece, and
Third will offer his arm to you, Lucky.
Maybe not take it. Maybe okay.
Okay.
it's
Lady should be escorted.
when you enter, there is then like a footman who turns and welcome to the Queen's abode. I see. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. If you and your party would like to adjourn in the Sky Room, the Queen will be with you in just a moment. And she wanted you to have these. And he has a silver platter, literal silver platter, with 4 black roses with like 8-inch. They are thorny stems, beware. But has just 4 long stem roses. For offers one to each of you.
Okay.
It's like The Bachelor, but goth.
Yes, the goth one.
Hold on, now I'm getting interested.
I know. I was like, if I actually watched
Yeah,
that.
goth bachelor. Now hang on,
Is there a
bachelor but Trent Reznor video. Yes.
is there a expected manner of displaying these? Wearing them?
Are you asking the footman?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in any way that you would like, or you can hold it, or I can keep it here if you don't want to have it.
Sal is going to put it in their hair so that it is sort of right at the edge of the veil.
Yeah. They have longish hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the thorns bother you. You'd feel it scrape a little bit. It would certainly cut a person's skin, but your skin works differently.
Right.
So I should say a human skin. You're a person.
Yes.
But Wall, what are you doing with yours?
I take it and place it into my scroll case.
Okay.
And as I take the black rose, I kind of whisper to myself, and this reminds me of an ancient gray tower alone by the sea. And you became the light and the dark side of me. I don't know where I remember that, but it comes to mind now. Anyway, I will put this into my scroll case.
All right.
It was Kiss from Rose by Seal.
Ah.
Yep.
It's like this is a lyric of something.
I got you on that
Oh,
one.
yeah. I
Well
obsessively
played.
watched that Batman.
That was from Batman,
I just
yeah?
liked Seal. I also liked Batman, but interestingly enough, when you drop it into the scroll case, it is almost exactly the right length, including the like blossom part of it, to safely put the cap back on. You're like, it's not going to rattle around in there because it's just a perfect fit
Perfect.
for your special scroll case.
Great.
I think because it's a long stem, Third is just going to carry it because he is assuming that it's going to be symbolic to other guests that we are somehow favored by the Queen and that these were gifts, so he should probably have it displayed or at least be holding it. But he doesn't think it'd be appropriate to try to cut it and like pin it onto something, so he's just going to hold it in his hand.
Does he like that has a status symbol to show around the house?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
It's also a really cool looking rose.
All right.
So yes, he
I
likes
like
it.
that. Lucky?
I'm gonna thread the stem through one of the holes in my belt.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like kind of on the side, or?
Like a sword?
I mean, I've got dual guitars, so that hang on my hips. So it's like a little bit more to the front.
Oh, and by the way, you see lots of people walking around with casual weapons, right? They didn't ask for your weapons. That lady's got a like claymore. That guy has a rapier. Like, you know, all kinds of stuff. So that doesn't seem particularly unusual.
Okay.
That probably would be pretty shocking for someone to do a violence here, but
Yeah.
they don't seem to worry about the weapons. Okay, so make your way through the house. There's somebody to direct you. I think the footman just takes you to the sky room, right? It is upstairs. You go up the right side of the double stairs and turn right, and there's a short hallway. It's this gorgeous, polished, deep brown, like black walnut floors, and you know, there's a washroom, and then the sky room is a little literal in that there's like a cloudy sky on the ceiling, but it's a night sky, and you can see the stars. And I think, Sal, you'd be the first to recognize that they are tonight's stars, precisely, like to the hour. So maybe it's moving, but yeah, it's the first thing to notice. Otherwise, the room is a smallish ballroom, right? It's more rectangular than square, and it has there's a great big long table that you could probably sit 50 people, something. I think that's the right amount for the size I'm thinking of. There is a fireplace at either end, and there are great big windows looking out onto the grounds on the long wall. And but there's nobody else here yet. The footman asks if he can I get you anything while you wait? Anything at all?
Just some water would be nice.
Of course.
I have heard. There's a story I've heard about the specialty of the Queen's Palace.
Well, do you mean her distillery or chef's specialty?
The distillery. I might be quite forward for me to ask, but would it be possible to sample one of your local brews?
Well, we have the black whiskey and the white whiskey.
Black.
White.
Very good. And for you, sir?
I'm fine.
Mix?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. I want to retract that, and the footman used the proper address.
Right.
That's the game master's slip. What can I get for you?
Nothing. I'm quite content.
Right.
Oh, perhaps a small bit of knowledge. Is this, and I point to the ceiling, static, or does it change with the...
The footman is visibly pleased that you would ask about this. He's my friend. he's and it's a little inappropriate, actually, like how familiar he's being at this point.
Finally, someone I can nerd out with about the ceiling.
The queen herself painted this, but of course, with her sorcery, animates it to follow the exact date and time. And the sky here always reflects the stars, even in the daytime. This is always the night sky that you would see if it weren't daytime, even. He just is like lit up, very excited to be talking about this. And then he says, I know you said you don't need anything, and I don't mean to presume that you would need this. I really hope this isn't inappropriate. But what we use to polish here is exquisite. And if you would like a sample of it, I would be happy to bring it for you.
Sure, I'm always open to experiences.
Oh.
I'm sure Lucky goes, yeah, the hell you are.
Let's see how it is. You're open to experiences that strangers give you.
Oh, another talk on the carriage ride home.
All right, so he returns in a little bit. I'm gonna have him be like a kind of a gangly 6'2", 20-ish, young man.
Is this the blonde guy from Creektown? And he's cleaned up, and this is his day job now.
Oh, I wish. Yeah,
It
the
is
guy
his
who was
twin brother.
passed out in the booth.
Yeah.
Wow, what a pull! That's a series fan right there.
I watched this show.
Yeah, weirdly, that's the foot. No, I don't think so.
His twin brother.
But yeah, he comes back with what everyone requested, and then like backs himself out of the room and pulls the doors closed, which was a very hard sentence to say. And the four of you are left to your own devices for a moment. I would love to know what's happening.
Is this like a paste, like a polish, or is this like a liquid that I would drink?
It's
Like, is there a rag that came with it, or a brush?
there's like a brush, and it's more of like a really viscous oil
Okay.
that you would like brush into a grain. So
He gave you lotion.
Yeah.
That's like true love right
Yeah.
Wow.
Your skin's a little here.
well, that's why he was saying like I don't want to like it's not that you need it, but we have this shit that's great.
And you seem cool.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to suggest you're a floor that needs polishing.
I'm not trying to suggest that you may look like you'd be getting some cracks.
With age and wear and tear of the sea, it's bound to happen.
What I want to see is, can I make 4 rings with this?
What I don't understand what that means.
Like tattoo. It's dark.
Oh,
can I
like
give
a
myself
stain.
rings?
So,
Interesting.
polish is a little different than a stain.
Yeah, it's not really a stain,
Okay.
but I would like you to roll a die. Are you applying some of it?
Yeah.
To just see what
Yeah,
it's like.
I will.
Yeah.
I will give it a try.
Maybe it creates a negative space tattoo, like it shines or it lightens.
If this is this was recommended by the 10 by the footman, and this is a new experience, then sure.
Is 10 mixed or
10 is a
success?
tough choice.
Tough choice. Okay. I think it's enough. The tough choice in this case is going to be that you don't totally have control over this yet, but you can tell that because you are a sapient living piece of wood, that when you apply this, you put it on and it's almost following your intention. When you go, oh no, I meant to go, oh, and it kind of just flows to how you wanted it to shine and,
Okay.
and polish, and you can pretty easily do your forearms and your hands, and like, wow. But the thing I wanted to add here, and I think with tough choice, I will let you choose. I was going to give you this almost olfactory sensation, but you can either have the olfactory sensation or not. That's your tough choice. With the olfactory sensation comes, one, the revelation of olfactory sense, which you haven't really, I know you could smell the salt of the sea and some things like this, but this is like, if you all can remember smelling eucalyptus for the first time, right? That like, I don't know, I really like eucalyptus, but even if you don't, it is so distinctive,
Right.
right? It is like, whoa.
Like when you grind fresh cinnamon.
Yeah, that too. That just like bold, like complicated, fresh odor. And this it doesn't fill the room with eucalyptus literally, but to you, it's like smelling through your skin, and you can have that experience. But if you do that, because it's a tough choice, you're going to be a little bit disoriented and distracted during this meeting. Or we can put that on hold until the next time you experiment. And this oil is special and interesting, but it hasn't lit any, no light bulbs go off yet.
Okay. I love it. It's great. So yeah, I will take the olfactory experience.
Okay, so a little distracted. Yeah, and I think you two who have been trying to get them to feel something are watching. I mean, what is your expression? What is your outward experience?
I think that, let's see, Sal's eyes go wide. And Sal doesn't have pupils, by the way, just so everyone knows.
Wooden orbs.
Wooden orbs that are a lighter color than the rest of Sal's face.
Mm-hmm.
Their eyes go wide, and there's sort of a sense of wonderment on their face, and they are kind of stroking their arms.
Yeah, I think it's also maybe one of the most tactile sensations you've had, that you can feel the grain and the, whatever it is. It's a little bit high.
I remember the first time I took ecstasy.
So, I think for the rest of you, it smells like, high quality wood polish,
Just, I'm very glad that you seem to be enjoying your experience from the stranger.
Oh,
kind of a lemony oil,
it's... I've never had anything quite like this. It's like... Well, I don't know what else it's like. It's how I imagine... I don't feel like I'm meeting a need, so I don't think it's like eating.
Makes note to have conversation about purpose of eating later.
I think what it most feels like is what I feel from the bottom of the ship slipping through the waves. But on a level that I've never felt this before.
That's amazing.
And it smells fantastic. Almost more than the smell of the sea, which is just my favorite thing. It's... And Sal does like a little shudder, which I don't think you've ever seen before.
There are certain delights and moments in life that words lack the depth for. In such moments, savor them.
Yes.
Wall's gonna put a hand on your shoulder.
Sal shivers again, but in a enjoyable way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wall takes his hand away.
Oh no, it was that wasn't bad. It's interesting. It's more than I've felt before.
Wall puts the hand back on.
Now it's both are awkward.
Right.
This is just getting more awkward by the moment.
I hope the queen arrives soon.
Oh man, I really want to
Before we all start
see
touching.
if maybe the idea percolating in Lucky's mind is, what if we are doing the wrong thing and ingesting through your mouth is not how you need to enjoy food?
Smearing pate.
Oil suspensions of flavor.
Oh, like a chili oil,
Like, could you experience the sensation of truffle oil? The scent and the taste and the dirt and the... So, just know that
All right, we'll be trying some new stuff. This is
Yeah.
cool. I like this mythology we're creating.
Yeah, me too. All right, so at this point, the doors at the other end of the room that you didn't come in through, I would say they don't burst open, but they open with authority, and a woman who certainly looks regal, but is not. I mean, there's no sort of elaborate gown or outfit or really anything extravagant. It's a flowing dress that's relatively simple cut, with some of the. It's deceptively simple, right? It's very well made, and there are parts of that thorn and rose motif woven into it, and she has this very subtle little circlet, like really like a low key tiara, right? It doesn't go all the way around. It's she's maybe 6 feet tall, and has kind of I was thinking like fairly broad shoulders, you know, like a Xena build, kind of. Maybe not as muscly, but actually pretty close to like Lucky's size, let's say.
yes, broad shoulder plan.
Yeah. And she walks in, you know, maybe even like, oh crap, what's the actress's name? Is it a spoiler to talk about Sandman?
Oh.
Gwendolyn Christie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that.
Okay.
That was a major announcement.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't think saying she's in the show is a huge.
Brienne of
No.
Tarth.
Yeah.
Brienne of Tarth. But I'm thinking the portrayal of her in Sandman is kind of what I have in mind.
Okay.
Not strongly feminine, not masculine.
Yeah.
But she is like presenting herself like you would see she, her under her name, right? Like her pronouns are she, her. Everyone's referred to her that way. But her presentation is somewhere further down the scale.
Yeah.
And but strides into the room certainly is, you know, regal, just like accidentally regal.
Commanding.
Yes. But not bossy, not like demanding.
Right.
Just casually regal. Like, I am in charge, and that's fine. Everyone understands. I don't need to remind everyone that I'm in charge all the time. That kind of thing. It doesn't need the elaborate crown, the whole train of clothes, and whatever else. And Kelly, the scribe, is just hot on her heels and is writing something, even though the queen hasn't started talking. She's like furiously scribbling something down. No, actually, I want to retool that a little bit. Kelly is busily writing, but she's calm and collected as she is. And you can see sometimes she'll take her pen away, and some of the writing continues to appear on the page, and then she'll adjust something or then write something manually, and then a lot of it is just forming, and she'll roll the scroll a little bit further and then roll some more of it, and is apparently also narrating the scene based on how busy she is. But yeah, that's so the queen enters and she says, "Ambassador, thank you for honoring me with this visit, and I hope you will accept. I hope we can have this visit be a visit of equals, two ambassadors. We have similar responsibilities in what we need to meet about, and I don't want this to be a queen summoning a visitor to her lands, but two ambassadors meeting to come to an arrangement."
Understood. We are all in service of the consulate here.
Weirdly, Wall instinctively clicks his heels together, stands up straight, turns aside, and looks down and he has his arms out straight as if holding a pole arm, realizing he's only holding a black whiskey. And there's this awkward moment of how do I know how to do this? Like a Born Identity kind of moment?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the queen looks at this, says, guard, what happened to your pike?
I may have misplaced it, but I assure you I am capable of guarding and performing my duty.
I have no doubt, but I imagine you would be more comfortable with a pike.
You know me well, my lady.
She didn't say anyone's name. She just sort of politely clears her throat at the closed door. And the footman from earlier is like, "Broop." Like, yes, ma'am. And she says, "What? The guard is missing his... We must supply him with a pike." And she looks genuinely sort of annoyed that this wasn't done. And the footman blanches and, yes, right away, man. And hustles out. That's all she has to say about that for the moment. But she says, well, please, let's sit at maybe together. And she kind of gestures at one little section of the table, the end of the table. And she does take the end of the table, but, invites you to sit on either side of that. And wherever it is you sit, Scribe Kelly puts herself like 3 or 4 seats empty space between you, but then like has her scroll rolled out and is taking notes about what happens.
Are the chairs sturdy enough for Sal?
Oh yeah. Okay. But they don't look like fortress chairs, right? But they are surprisingly well made.
Okay.
They're just small. Everything's too small,
right,
for Sal. So your knees are up a little bit, and you can't scoot all the way into the table, but you can sort of arrange yourself to sit if you want to.
Okay.
Will Wall sit?
Wall is going to wait until everyone else is seated,
Uh-huh.
and like all these weird etiquettes and like things are coming back to him,
Mhm.
and then he takes the seat when he feels it's appropriate to.
I want to. Can this be characterized a little bit like if you downloaded a skill in the Matrix?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because you now know, like, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is the right thing to do because I've learned this.
Right.
But you just can't remember when or where exactly you
Right.
learned it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Like these are my memories. Like
Yeah.
I know how to do this.
Okay. So, the Queen says, Ambassador Joshi, it's lucky that you came here. I don't think she knows your nickname. It is a nickname, right?
I've heard it before.
Sal giggles a little.
Yeah, because she
Tries
just
to keep a
addresses
straight
you
face.
as Ambassador Joshi. That's all she knows to call you. So, yeah. Something you notice sitting up close with her now, and she's not sort of moving around and giving orders, and she's just having this close conversation with the 4 of you. That moment where Kelly's eyes had gone white mist, and she greeted the ghosts, greeted Arjun more personally, and all of that. The Queen's eyes are constantly like that. You can see a little hint of her pupil behind that. She's darker pupils rather than, I think Gwendolyn Christie has blue eyes, but this character has very dark eyes, but with this white film over them. And it's just there perpetually. You can tell where she's looking. It's just her pupils are behind a veil, almost literally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. It's very cool. So, we have a problem. Are you familiar with the city of the Spire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very intimately familiar with.
Oh, I thought you might. It's not very far from here. I don't know if you've been. It's.
We're lately from there.
Oh.
Mm.
Well, maybe you'll be even more well equipped for this than I realized. A faction has arisen there that is promising people eternal life.
Oh.
And you could like, she's so like disappointed
Mm.
in this
Mm.
whole
Mm.
the idea that they would promise people that. She's not disgusted. She's not turning her nose up at it. It's just like,
How gauche.
God damn it, people! Like you can't do that,
Do better.
right?
Mm.
And you know, so she says it is not anyone's place on this plane to decide how long they have. There is a time when you cross the veil. Maybe you'll return, maybe you won't. No one decides that for themselves. This faction we cannot allow to continue.
Now I can see what the consulate would believe this is an urgent matter.
So, I can't go myself. It would cause problems with them, with my sisters. It's complicated. But it does seem like something an ambassador and a guard and their friends could accomplish very efficiently. And the consulate has assured me that I am able to make very generous promises for your reward.
At Friends, Sal has looked over at Third and is just
You see that just ever so slight flash of a grin, but then he goes back to being serious.
Well, as I told the consulate when I spoke to them earlier, I am at their service. But I cannot speak for her. The others here.
Mr. Ophandris,
Your Majesty?
of the Eversummer Ophandris?
Yes.
Interesting.
Huh.
Do you know if the Ophandris faction on the other side of the world?
Is he?
I don't know.
It's
You tell me.
a family. I mean, it's a family, distant cousins. But, you know what? I feel like if they do exist, then yes, he would have heard
Okay.
about it. If they are actually affiliated with his family, yes, he would know this.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it up to you because you've got a whole mythology for your family too. I don't
No,
know
that
if
makes
you know.
perfect sense. I'm going to say yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm the equivalent of what we would call the Southern Hemisphere,
Mhm.
right? That there's you know, Chilean family. We're not literally using Earth's geography, but you know, we're roughly north of what would be the, you know, equator, and Eversummer sounds like it's somewhere warm. Just, unless it's the whole Greenland Iceland gag.
It's the whole ever summer, never winter gig.
Ah.
Yeah, see? See what I
Okay.
did there? Alternate universes, y'all.
Love it, love it. So the she just makes note of that, right? She says, oh, that's fascinating. I wondered if it was one and the same family. So I'm sorry for prying.
Yes, indeed. I am taking a bit of a sabbatical for my family to do some artistic exploration and have had the fortunate pleasure of meeting this fine crew, and they invited me to travel with them for a short while.
Well, that is outstanding. Have you given any thought into the civil service?
I have not.
Hmm.
I expected once the stint is over, I would return to my family. I'm expecting a new sibling in the coming months. And
Oh, that's exciting.
It is very exciting. It's always a happy time for the family. So I'm just doing a bit of, like I say, creative exploration in the meantime.
Well, the civil service isn't for everyone, but if you should be interested, please let me know. I can make the transition very easy for you.
Kind of looks at her, blushes slightly, says, I will take that into consideration, Your Majesty.
And Salamander.
yes.
Sorry, the free ship Salamander. Wait, was it free ship
Yeah,
Salamander?
the
of
free ship
sea?
Salamander.
Oh, just the free ship Salamander. May I call you Salamander?
You may call me Sal.
Thank you. Well, hold on. Have I given the queen a proper name?
I don't think we
I
have.
think so.
Not to us.
I think we discussed. Was it like she has many names?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has a lot of
Titles.
titles
Yeah.
and names, and I think maybe and she's also like in recorded history hundreds of years old, if not 1,000 years old. And you know, like there's some question about that, but
She hasn't aged a day.
yeah, I think she just goes by titles.
Mm.
So well, that's fine. Just popped into my mind like I don't think I gave her that, but I think I was intentionally thinking she's a little distanced from that like personal sense of self and is a little disassociated, and you know, it's a weird complicated existence being the queen of death.
Mm.
Salamander, Sal, it may surprise you to learn that you're not on our rolls anywhere.
I don't.
Everyone is on our rolls. And I wonder, perhaps you'll appear there at some point, or you're there by a different name? But I found this fascinating. When Kelly introduced you brought your name to me. I looked for it immediately because I was interested. I hope you won't think it prying.
No, is that a problem?
No, it's fascinating. And I suppose if you wanted to think about it crassly, it means you can't die. Because we don't have a place for you yet. I think we will, but we don't yet.
Blink, blink.
Also, when she said Kelly's name, Kelly flushes. Like, it's like, she said my name. I get to write it down. She said my name.
Senpai noticed me.
Yeah. She obviously looks up to the queen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the people work for her, and it's fine. But Kelly is like in awe, right?
I am interested in that as well. I hope it does not cause consternation.
No, indeed. And I don't mean to imply you as any lesser because of it. Just that it's an interesting conundrum. I found it fascinating.
Thank you for letting me know.
If you are challenged by anyone with authority in my bailiwick, you may refer them to me if they have further questions.
I thank you, Your Majesty.
And Ambassador, I'm sure you would be able to handle the situation as well, but
All assistance is appreciated. Especially, it must be so nice for someone in our line of work, and with your great breadth of experience, something new.
thank you. That is exactly what I wanted to express. Said much better than I did. Kelly
There's
Kelly
a
looks
first time for everything.
Kelly looks horrified. She's very expressive, Kelly. The queen is not unexpressive, but she's not overly expressive. She has very muted, controlled, is unflappable. Kelly is already flapped.
Yeah.
It's pre-flap.
Yeah,
Pre-flapped.
she was flapped before she came in.
Yeah.
Continues flapping. Speaking of that, we should talk about what the consulate can offer you for your services. And I think this could be a very interesting conversation.
I agree.
Roll credits. I promised to get us out of here by 9, and we're already late. Sorry, everyone. Game down there. Folks, thank you for joining us for episode 3 of the Castoffs. My name is Jason. The channel is Happy Jacks RPG. You can find our past episodes at happyjacks.org/castoffs or /shows for anything and everything we've ever done. Our YouTube playlist is a really great place to rewatch if you can. I mean, no one likes VODs on Twitch. We talked about that earlier. But the YouTube is also a great place to like put some comments and chit chat with us. You can also join the Discord. We have a really active Happy Jacks Discord, and we can have some chit chat there as well. Yep, that's what I needed to say. Nick,
Smooth.
yeah, got it in one.
What I will say is, if you are looking this up on YouTube later, I don't know if we can fix this, but somebody forgot to update the title of the show.
Oh,
because they were working with trying to make the stream deck work, which did not happen.
aha, yes, I can fix that.
So
That we can fix in post.
oh, great. Okay.
The one time.
Yes, just so that people don't get confused with there being two RPG
Oh, yeah.
advice shows out there. But in any case, my name is Nick. I played Sal today, and you can find me at Sungrowler on Twitter, and you can also find me there on that other platform that I can't think of at the moment, Instagram. That's the one, and you can see how much I use it. So
The IG.
you know, yeah. If you just want to have a really low key follow, the only time I post there is when it cross posts from Facebook. So enjoy.
Hi, I'm Pooja. You can find me on Twitter at LADesigirl. That's LADESI girl. Pretty much all the other socials as Forgotten Saves. Hope you don't need me to spell that, because I don't think I can.
Yeah.
If you want to hear me play more TTRPGs, I am on the podcast 12-Sided Stories. We are currently in the midst of a City of Mist campaign that I ran. So,
It's really fun. People should go listen to it. I don't know if you caught it last week. I think I spelled out your Twitter correctly. And I was thinking, I have played games with Pooja. I have listened to 12-Sided Stories. I have heard her say this at least once a week for many months. I can do this, and I got it.
I love doing that with every once in a while we would switch up on 12-Sided, just because we've all heard them so many times before. That was not the ones that made it to air, but just the ones that we were like,
Yeah.
oh, this will be fun.
Hi, I'm Courtney Craft. You can find me on Twitter at the Anime Goddess, although I'm thinking of changing it to my name soon. It might be time for a slight rebranding. I play Third Ephandrus, the Bard. For just some basic context, on Thursday nights, my home game, I play a D&D game where I play 7th Ephandrus, who is the youngest child of the Ephandrus family, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to play Third as in an alternate universe version of him. So they're definitely different things, but maybe on that carriage ride back you can ask about his siblings and I can tell you more next episode.
Love that.
Fun.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Joku, and I'll be taking over the Anime Goddess when that becomes available, so follow me there. If you're on LinkedIn, why? You can also find me at Joe Loves Stories. I don't post there very often. There might be a few things coming on as I'm doing some creative stuff I can't talk about yet, but when I know, you'll know. So if you enjoy my work or other APs I've been on, you can follow me there and let me know.
Awesome. And you can follow my personal stuff if you follow me on Twitch and Twitter at It's Probably Okay, just the letters OK. And I game on my channel Wednesdays and Fridays with some video game nonsense. And then I'm here on Saturdays. And I think that's everything about me. So, thank you again. Really appreciate having you here live or later. Your only two options to watch the show. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.